acknowledge me. And you want to know why? Because you're number 2. Wait. No. I mean that with respect. You all would be lucky to be a number 2, but you're not even close. This is the greatest number 2 of all time. But that's all you will ever be, is number 2. Because I'm number 1. I want you to analyze this situation here. You understand? Your daddy's not here anymore. I'll tell you who his daddy is, because if he keeps messing up, the tribal chief is gonna be his daddy. The same music, the same entrance, the same run to the ring, the same outfit, the same promo, the same insults. If I wanted that, all I had to do was search online for 2005 John Cena. It's the same thing over and over and over. It's like missionary position every single night. You must be some kind of a dumbass. A big dumb farmer, huh? You just sign it without even reading it? What's wrong with you, man? You make a good tough guy face. Do something. Go on, pull it. Come on. Make it happen. Get this bum out of here, will you? Just get this bum out of here already, huh?
Make it happen. Salute. Let's talk some wrestling on the Heel of the Ring podcast. Of course, your 2 co-hosts, me, BX Sports JEDI Kev, and PGH Chris. Acknowledge us as we are here to talk some wrestling. What's up, Chris? How are you, buddy?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Post WrestleMania season's here. First week, kind of these are all the shows after WrestleMania. We have a great TNA pay-per-view coming up tomorrow. NFL draft. Again, I appreciate everyone that joined me for that. The stream was very successful, but we're here. I'm ready to talk some wrestling after taking a little couple day break away after a long WrestleMania week, or a couple day break. Yeah, a day break after a long week. I'm ready to get back into it. Let's go.
All right. Of course, we've done a lot of reactionary videos, but we do our weekly wrestling show each and every week on a Saturday. We talk about the whole entire week of professional wrestling: Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Evolve, Dynamite, TNA, Impact Zone, and all different. But we have to start off with the WrestleMania 41. Was it a letdown? Let's talk about it, guys. We want to hear your thoughts here on X. We want to hear your thoughts on YouTube, Rumba, Twitch, on all different platforms that are listening to us on the audio. Write a comment. I know everyone's probably exasperated or tired of talking about the WrestleMania letdown or the build-up, but I got to go through it because we have to. A lot of stuff continues to come out. It's like an onion. The more layers you peel off of it, the more it's starting to stink. And we're going to start off with my first one, the roast. The roast of WrestleMania, where WWE rushes to remove all WrestleMania roast leaks and featuring all different types of comments or jokes. I was one of those that I actually heard it on X before it was pulled. I heard 2.5 hours plus of it. To me, yes, I'm gonna make this reference. I'm a mid 40-year-old man who grew up in the comedy era, from the Dean Martin, from the Eddie Murphy Raw, Delirious, to Dave Chappelle, to this current class of comedians. I had no issues myself with it. That's what a roast is. When you sign up for a roast, you're going to get roasted, no matter if the person, who or what the persons are. Could some of these jokes be offensive or attacking the personal lives or situation of some of the people getting roasted? That's your interpretation of comedy, Chris.
Yeah, I would agree. As much as I don't like the son of a bitch, Tony, this is what we know what a roast is. And again, I allude to Kev. I am also one of those people that heard the roast. I understand why, they want to get rid of this. This was a lot said here. you could argue things went too far, but like Kev said, it's comedy, and you know, there's a difference, right? This isn't a presidential freaking campaign, and you're not trying to make comedy jokes like that Tony got. I just, this is the right place, right time, because this was set up. This was a roast. Everybody knew what they were getting into. And I don't have a problem with it either. I am a Puerto Rican male, so you know, I know a lot of people, in the community, Hispanic community, whatever, might feel some type of way of the jokes, especially with Paul Heyman. But like Kev's alluded to, it's comedy at the end of the day. These guys know what they're signing up for. Shit that get a little heated between Fluffy and Paul Heyman. I think it sounded like somebody was trying to shut that down real quick. But again, this wasn't aired. This was a group of people that knew what they were signing up for, knew what they were listening to. I had no problem with it. It's something different, after WrestleMania. And let's be honest, a lot of people want to get shit off their chest. It is a roast, but, this is ultimately a place where some of these people could get their feelings off their chest. So I had no problem with it. I thought it was kind of funny. If I'm being honest, I thought some of this stuff was kind of hilarious. So that's just me. Maybe I have dark humor, but I thought some of the stuff was hilarious.
And I'm not saying this is coming from the IWC, maybe not. Again, but if this is coming from IWC, this is the IWC that wants the WWE to go back to the Attitude Era. Yeah. They could never handle the Attitude Era. If this generation of wrestling fans were getting into that Attitude Era where they really pushed a lot of envelopes. Listen, you had Todd Pettingill. If you remember that, Google that name. He was Michael Cole before Michael Cole. Todd Pettingill at the Slammies pretty much said that China had a willy, China had a penis. He sang the song, tall. You heard that song Tall and Tan, and he sang that rendition when he put China. Do you have a penis? He was like, ooh. And Paul Heyman made a comment on Shayna Baszler having a penis. So you see joke number 4. They also talk about Miz's wife's private part with Miz being in the building. That's what the guest. If you want to see the roast and see how they did that to Tom Brady, where Tom Brady, we all know where Tom Brady's wife left him for the jiu-jitsu instructor, and he was there taking the slings and arrows. When you sign up for a roast these days, that's what that is. Now, if you want to get it, but meanwhile, no one's getting mad at the person that broke the rules and not to bring cell phones. Cell phones were confiscated. Listening and recording devices were confiscated to go into that roast, like the Dead Man Walking shows. But meanwhile, no one's upset at that person exposing this and breaking the rules. But he's okay with it, or she. You don't know. But it sounded more like a dude because he kept coughing. Either that or he kept tugging in his pants because all you kept hearing was a lot of it. It wasn't the greatest audio either, but you got, but it was still enough to hear the jokes. R-Truth, I thought was very funny on it. I thought R-Truth was cool. There was some good stuff. There was Sami Zayn not reading jokes, but participating.
Tony saying and as much as I don't like the guy, him saying Del Rio, because you like to bring this up, and I thought of you immediately, where it was like Tony said Del Rio at the roast one in WWE. They had to turn that page. That shit was hilarious.
I mean, there's some funny stuff there, but again, it's 420. It's 420 a day for celebration for Pot Smokers and Christian. Also, Hitler's. It's also a Hitler's birthday, so it's probably a celebration for Gunther too. That's a tough one, but that's a roast. Unfortunately, that's a roast. I wanted Nakamura to appear at the roast, but the terrorists put him on his booking. I mean, come on. I mean. Those are jokes that were there. I know Nia Jax came out strong. I mean, I know that, the comedian didn't even know her name. Kept calling Nia Jax. I mean, a 2-point stand.
I'm sorry. That Nakamura one still kind of has me.
I mean, come on. The best one was Paul Heyman, though. Ooh. Probably the most of the pocket one was Paul Heyman making a joke about Freddie Prinze Jr. starting a wrestling promotion, saying all you need is another wrestling promoter like Freddie Prinze's father who needs another hole in his effing head. I mean, that was oof. whoa, you know,
Awful.
he was a little, yeah, that was a little bit out there with that.
That's
For
crazy,
that,
bro. No, dude, the Nakamura one still has me like that one's crazy. But again, yeah, it's a roast. I thought it was hilarious, and Nia Jax got like, and Nia Jax used it pretty well because she was just going hard on Becky and then Seth the whole time. Like, what up, Nate Child? Nate, what up, dog?
and of course,
Yeah.
people are getting into their feelings here with that. The whole WrestleMania 41 weekend, starting with the Hall of Fame. I mean, let's go to this. Let's go to this joke. My goodness.
Yo,
Everybody, look at the amount
Booker
of
T,
people.
bro.
No, he was praying.
That is insane.
It was Good Friday. It was Good Friday. It was Good Friday. He wasn't eating any meat. He was like being a good Catholic boy. Well, I don't know if he is Catholic or not. So Booker, if you're not, I apologize. But he's being he had no
not even hiding it.
Cody's knocked out. My goodness, Cody's like ready to fall on.
Poor Eric Bischoff. This is supposed to be a big night for him because of Luger, and he's knocked out. Jey Uso. If you guys saw the press, like if you saw his interview before he was coming in, dude was hammered. Oh my god. Bailey just looks like she's about to cry.
Bailey looked like she was gonna do. Bailey looked like she was about to cry many times. I mean, throughout the whole weekend. Oof, Maron. I mean, oof, that was a tough one. I mean, that was a tough one there. Oof. And of course, here we go to the next one here. First and foremost, I think Samuel, if you're gonna join us, please jump on before we move on to the next topic. Just wanted to make sure.
Oh my god, I didn't even know he was back here.
Yes, he's there. He's here. He's there to join us. What's up, Samuel?
I'm good. I'm good. Happy Saturday.
Are you okay? You seem down at the dumps. This WrestleMania got you down in the dumps, huh?
I'm good. I'm good. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Hopefully we get everything rolling. All right, let's get right into this WrestleMania. Of course, we've seen the Hall of Fame, the build for the Hall of Fame started at 1 a.m. Eastern time. That's a late for a lot of folks coming in there. I know you made a great statement, Chris. You said this should be on Thursday.
Why not? Why can't this be on a Thursday? Why can't this be on a Thursday at 8 o'clock? I have no understanding why they can't do a Thursday at 8 o'clock. No, think about the talent. I mean, if this is not a clear example of that, I mean, hell, what they did last year even worked better with them just doing it in the arena. They didn't have to go travel, get ready. They weren't in a hurry. They could just shower, get changed, do whatever, and just walk back out. Keep doing what you were doing the last 2 years or something, or do it on a Thursday because I don't blame them. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I know they don't want to be falling asleep. They want to. Hall of Fame is a celebration, but when it's 1 in the freaking morning there or here, and it's late over there after a lot of these guys just had matches on SmackDown, I mean, damn, like you got to give us something. And think about the fans who want to watch this. I didn't watch it live.
Thank God. I think
I didn't watch it live.
I served myself a great disservice. I think I would have been sleeping on a stream too. Probably would have got clowned on the internet.
I went
to bed. I
would have too. But yeah, so I don't know. They got to change that, or at least keep up what they were doing last year, because that's ridiculous.
Samuel, did you watch it live, or you were also sleeping?
No, I did watch live. By the time the show started, it was 6 a.m. over here. So I caught the show early in the morning. I slept. I did not watch SmackDown, so I slept off during SmackDown. So when I woke up in the morning, I started my WrestleMania week Saturday with the Hall of Fame, SmackDown, Hall of Fame early in the morning by 6 a.m. 6 to
Okay.
9 or 10 a.m. if by so when it's finished.
Where do we I don't know if SmackDown is returning back ever to 3 hours again, because latest reviews, it hasn't been that awesome. The 3 hours SmackDown for the winter time. I don't know if they go back to that. If they were to go back to that next year before New Orleans, it's also going to be Central Time Zone. Give us 1 hour SmackDown and 2 hour Hall of Fame. I think that's a great compromise. 1 hour of the SmackDown, you can get your Andre the Giant Memorial, that one title match or the two title matches that they are thinking of, and go into the Hall of Fame. I think if they do that, that's fine. Even 45 minutes, two matches, two matches of promo and right into the Hall of Fame, a part of the SmackDown combo. But again, I don't know if they want to do that. If TKO's, I don't know what TKO Endeavor wants, tickets for the Hall of Fame for fans to spend more money for that. You already got the fans already going to WrestleMania for SmackDown, but they want to do more money because it's about making more money. I don't know. I hope they do that, where keep it in the same venue. Everyone's there. It's a great showcase of fans. They're afraid of fans leaving in the middle of SmackDown because it's too long. At the Hall of Fame, that's why they put Paul Heyman early. You don't want to see on camera people walking out of the arena because they're tired of 3 to 4 hours, and you can just gonna hear speeches. I understand that point of view. Maybe that's why they want to go. Well, they're paying to be there. They're going to get their money's worth. They're not leaving because they pay to go to this separate venue for the Hall of Fame. I don't know how they'll fix that, Chris. I don't know how they'll do that. I really don't. Maybe they won't do it with fans. I know you want fans to celebrate these wrestlers, but I don't know, Chris. You're muted, bro. You're muted, boss.
Sorry, I have myself muted, so when Samuel talks, there's no interference. But I don't know either. I don't know either. I think this year was a disaster. I'm still in favor of doing it on a Thursday. Favor of doing it on a Thursday and doing it in the same arena, because you can't expect talent to be fully awake or give it their all when half of them either performed on SmackDown. Again, women take forever to get ready. I know that they take forever to get ready. They're going to different venues, traffic, security, escorts. It's too much for these wrestlers. It might not be too much for the fans, but it is way too much for these wrestlers, and I think that's the ultimate, thing that you need to focus
on. All right, we'll see on that there. Let's go right into the next situation and I want to skip ahead a little bit. I got a few things. We're going to get to him, but I want to get into the final night one. Travis Scott coming out. We reviewed it, but we never got to review it together as a group. Seeing Travis Scott come out here, the WrestleMania 1 main event, and I want to go with the internet. We got all this stuff that I'm just breezing through because we're going to get to this. I want to get into the IWC complaining. I'm going to go to you, to Samuel. You look at these comments here. I could read one. This is awful. The finisher spam was awkward. Travis Scott involvement, terrible finish with Cody Rhodes being painfully gullible, no rock. This is one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. Night 2 was better than night 1. The crowd was electric, invested from the start. So many edge to seating moments. Literally a highlight reel. Can't wait to the fallout. I'm baffled of how un-WrestleMania that 41 felt. Stories are branched instead of ending. Feud seems started, and a lot of matchups felt forced into a corner by management, board of directors, and it just doesn't have that feeling that I need for WrestleMania. Samuel, your reactions of the IWC. You see all these comments. I left two out there, but I wanted to get your thoughts. Warranted? Well, where do you stand?
The craziest thought I can think of after almost I believe a week now since WrestleMania is that WrestleMania was good. At least I will not say great compared to last year. It was good. It was okay. The feeling going in we were feeling lackluster because of one person and one person only, and that was The Rock. Imagine if The Rock was part of the WrestleMania, nobody would be talking about how boring it was, how let down it was because if only he showed up to finish the end of the bargain, finish the story he started, or at least continue the story he started, nobody and their mother will be saying anything about this WrestleMania being lackluster. I felt it was because of all of the craziness. You add the Bailey situation with the Becky situation. You add the whole craziness, Rey Mysterio being removed, Phoenix being in. You add like a whole lot of craziness was going on, and coupled with The Rock not being part of it, everybody was just like, "F it!" Like this is just the worst we can. And having Travis Scott come to represent, like it's just like a whole crazy scenario. So I just believe if this show would have been saved by one person and one person only, and it's really really hard for us to sit down here and say, wow, so it's because of one person we could not really say we enjoyed the entire season, because like the whole backbone of this WrestleMania was on his back. You understand? He even came out to introduce us to the next year's old. So we are like, okay, we are going to kick it off with this year. Like it felt as if he's not even, he made us wait for him all throughout last year, 1 year. Oh yeah, continue it throughout this year, leading up to next year. So him literally taking the burden off his shoulders and throwing it back to Triple H and the boys and leaving and going home to watch from the couch made it very really really difficult for everybody, because I can't sit down here and tell you WrestleMania was great for me personally from the build up to it, because I was like, where is he, where is he? Every Monday Night Raw, every SmackDown, I was like, where is the Raw SmackDown where he will beat Cody all throughout the arena, all throughout the under the rain, under the sun, whatever. Like where is the episode where he will beat him and blood will be everywhere? Where is the episode where he will come out and you see him come to explain? Where is the episode where the three-man band between him, Travis Scott, and John will be? Like we were waiting. It's as if we waited on that so much so that we could not even really give our hearts to other things. That's why it felt as if everything was just, so it's just, I believe it's just because of The Rock not being part of this thing. It just made it feel so like already it was already feeling low. So him not being around just literally killed it for everybody. So personally for me, this wasn't great for me personally. It wasn't great. Like it's as if I watch Raw or SmackDown combined show with a bigger budget. That's how I felt, and I was happy for everybody that won. I was happy for those that got their moment. But in terms of, oh, this was WrestleMania, oh, this was the greatest, nah, I did not have that. And I'm so angry with myself that, oh, it's because of one person. And I hate the fact that I know that he knows that because of him not being around, people would not love this, and he still refused to show up. That's one of the most fucked up things to think of, to sit down and say as a fan. So yeah, for me.
I want to rebuttal a few things. I don't want you to go too long. I want to rebuttal things. Like you mentioned, one here says it felt like a combination of SmackDown and Raw. At the end of the day, it's professional wrestling still. It's like, when the World Series plays, you have the National League, American League plays. It's still baseball. At the end of the day, WrestleMania was still wrestling. The fact that you have these wrestlers come out for SmackDown and Raw, it's still wrestling. I don't get when they say it just felt like another SmackDown and Raw. And the same thing happens when it comes to All Elite Wrestling. Oh, it felt like a Collision or a Dynamite. What are you guys expecting? Are you expecting something out of the ordinary? Or Beam Me Up Scotty? It's wrestling at the end of the day. It's still wrestling. The build, the anticipation. They're going to do some certain movesets. The performers busted their asses throughout the card. All those 13 matches, I thought everyone had. There wasn't a botch or a boring moment with the WrestleMania matches. Is because, again, you didn't get the surprises. You didn't get the Rock interference. Everything else, that means everything sucked. And you took away from everyone that worked their ass off. Chris, your thoughts?
I agree with both of you. I will agree with Kev that I'm not letting one guy determine my outcome of WrestleMania. I could agree with Samuel, though, because that main event night 2 was a huge letdown, and it is ultimately The Rock's fault for not showing up. The WrestleMania card was good. Night 1 main, we're all talking about how bad night 1, how oh my god, holy hell, excuse me. We're all talking about how bad the night 2 main event was, when we're not talking about how good the night 1 main event was. Night 1 main event's barely being talked because of how bad the night 2 main event's being to some people. It's not fair, because let's say that was the main event of night 2, we'd be having a different perspective. So it's just that one match that people, in my opinion, are saying that this is the worst WrestleMania of all time. This was a good card. You had matches. You guys had women's matches. You guys are always complaining and moaning how there's no women on the card, blah blah blah. And again, I don't like to throw this out there, but I'm throwing this out there because again, it goes to my point where I talked about earlier this week. What is it that you guys want? We had women's matches out there, a shit ton of them. Again, I don't like saying this, but I'm going to because I have to. We had 2 black women on the card that wrestled, didn't even for a title, but we got them. We got John Cena winning the title for a 17th time as a heel. We got him. What else do you guys want? You guys are really going to let the appearance of The Rock, of the lack of appearance of The Rock, I should say, determine the whole or the whole show, the whole WrestleMania build, the whole card. I think that's a little BS. But if you're strictly talking about the main event, yes, the Rock is the reason why that main event was a shit show, because Travis Scott, John Cena didn't sell a soul to Travis Scott. John Cena sold a soul to The Rock. And even if The Rock wasn't there for the whole build, and if you just would have came out for WrestleMania at the end where they're walking back to the stage and The Rock comes out there, I think people are talking about it differently. I think it's just that main event that people are talking about, and they're not real talking about how good the rest of the show was. Again, not everything was perfect, not everything was great, but it was still a decent WrestleMania season, decent WrestleMania matches. So don't let the main event, don't let the outcome, don't let one guy not showing up determine the rest of the show, because it's not fair to the talent. And it's a little bit ridiculous because, again, the whole show does not revolve around Rock, only the main event. And the Rock's the biggest part of that main event, in my opinion. So him not showing up for that is horrible. It's a disappointment. But the whole show is not bad just because of that.
Let me ask this question. Knowing that what we saw on Monday Night Raw, because Monday Night Raw after Mania was phenomenal. It was, they got back on the right track. It got back on the right track, and SmackDown last night got back on the right track. Knowing that we saw where Braun Breaker now joining Paul Heyman with Seth Rollins. If Rollins, like I saw a tweet or someone from IWC said, it's rather Travis Scott and it's Seth Rollins coming out and causing Cody to lose this match. Now we still got more unquestionable creative nightmare or uncertainty, because is Rollins still with The Rock? Is Rollins, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing if he would have cost Cody, because now we saw Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman, if there's still question marks here with storylines. If Rollins, I'm glad Rollins didn't. My point is, I'm glad Rollins didn't come out, cost Cody the match. Because then it ties into The Rock. I think they want to move away from The Rock. Paul Heyman, I could be wrong, but I'm going to go to you, Chris, and I want to hear from Samuel on that one. What do you think they're dictating a storyline-wise?
I'm curious to know what Braun Breaker fits into this. I can't wait for them to maybe explain that to us on Monday. I personally, again, I've said this for months, Seth Rollins will align himself with The Rock. We're slowly getting there. I think what they could do is they could, I don't know, because again, I wonder how Roman plays in all this. I wonder how Punk plays in all this, because I don't know if the Seth Rollins could just immediately go after The Rock or interfere with that. I still think there's still something with like Punk and Roman involved, like with the wise man,
right?
And I think they might want to be involved too. Again, you could get to Rock and Roman that way. There's just so many ways. If you could include Punk and Roman. You don't even have to, because again, technically, Seth stands tall. He beat both of them at WrestleMania, took both of their wise mans, and now has Braun Breaker on his side. So they could he is at the top, and he could go straight after join himself with The Rock. But again, I'm curious to see where this is going to go in the future. This year, War Games, Survivor Series, like maybe down the road we'll get something around Roman, Punk, Cody, and then Cena, The Rock, Seth Rollins, not The Rock, but Seth Rollins. Maybe Seth Rollins lining himself, or The Rock lining himself with like Rollins, Breaker. Maybe they do something War Game. I don't know, something around that. There's a lot they could do with that, but I still think maybe you could fit in Roman and Punk because again, Seth has their wise man, so they could fit in. Or again, I named three different ones, so they could go either way.
I don't trust this. I don't trust the. I don't think creative is on board with one another. I think there's a crack when it comes to creative, where I don't know all the things that we're suggesting. As I'm trying to find the hell that one here it is. When I'm suggesting, I think there's a crack in the foundation with Nick Khan, Triple
Yep.
H, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and TKO. I think they're all thinking different things. Almighty Dollar. Samuel, your thoughts here? Do you trust the creative to put forth that plan, or was this exactly what they wrote with Travis Scott coming out and helping Cena?
One of the things I need to put this one out here. I really love the fact that we get to do this on Saturdays because somehow, some way, gives me the opportunity to reflect on things. Now, the man standing next to The Rock, not Nick Khan, Triple H, I believe. Looking back in now, I'm like, if he knew The Rock wasn't showing up, which I am very sure he knew about that. Okay, it's not gonna come. Why didn't he try to save it? Like just save it so that we will not, or like let us like why didn't he save it? Because I felt like he did not save it. Like he not even try to save the main event. So I'm like, why didn't he save that main event for the fans? A part of me right now is thinking, since the so-called Dwayne wants to throw every other person under the bus and only him would be like the savior, Triple H was like, I am. It's as if he felt like, okay, I and the rest of the creative will die on that sword. Let the fans, let the audience, let everybody see how egotistical this man is, leaving us behind to deal with the crap he made, right? So let everybody see. So now, whatever he's doing going forward, it's now going to obviously in our eyes, we are now seeing a man that is trying to build off the shit he was given. Now, how am I seeing this whole thing? I believe obviously the Rock being a TKO board member, literally Triple H's boss. Um, it goes way back with them. So, and The Rock, obviously, he rolls pretty well more with Khan, with Nick Khan, with the Ari Manuels of the world, and the Mark Shapiro, the big leagues. So, Triple H to him is like the minor league. He gets to discuss with the big leagues and then come down to Triple H to be like, okay, this is what we have decided. And as a man in that position, I feel for him because having to, run the ship only for one Dwayne Johnson and his team to come up to you and be like, okay, so this is what this is what we have decided. So I am to wait for you as the puppet master and to fit you in wherever you like and then disrupt my entire plan and creative. So I do believe this is just my theory here. I do believe the night one main event was supposed to infuse into the night two, but with Dwayne not showing up to do his own part, there was no way. So I don't know how they are going to turn this around. I do trust Paul Heyman. I do trust Triple H. I believe they should be able to figure out something how they are going to explain these actions, because now that Heyman is left, with his quote unquote his dick in his hand and having to deal with these guys now, how am I going to tie this up to make sense? Because mind you, it's as if obviously they're not making us too smart for our liking. We are Unreal on Netflix is coming up very soon. People will get to see more of how this thing run. So now everybody, even the not so smart fans, are now becoming smart now, because now you now have more work to do to explain some things to us. They won't buy shit just like that. So I don't know how they're going to tie this back in with this Heyman, Rollins, and Braun situation. But I do trust Triple H only if he doesn't get interference from doing or any of the executive trying to infuse theirs in. I do trust him on what he can do. I just hope they don't run this man out of this position, because they might come to a point where they might run him off. So that's just it for me personally. I do trust the creative people we have now. I just wish they could save it, but I could understand as a business person if they did not want to save it, so that we can see the real ass in all of this, the real asshole in all of this, and I believe we saw that.
All right, so I'm hearing your point. When it comes to Dwayne The Rock Johnson getting involved, I go back to Bad Blood in Atlanta when he comes out. You're seeing Cody Rhodes teaming up with Roman Reigns with Jimmy Uso in the ring. Points to 1, 2, 3 cutthroat line. We're like, who is it for? Is he going to cut out Roman from being his champion, or is he? Or you're teaming up with Cody Rhodes? Because it obviously didn't show that The Rock was still not buddy or didn't eye Cody Rhodes as his champion. He saw when he handed out that watch in Cody Rhodes' pocket, where Cody would look like he was befuddled or offended. But then we go fast forward to Netflix debut, where The Rock comes out and buddied and drinking Terramata and celebrating and all that stuff, and confused the living crap out of us. I think right there told us that he wasn't going to be part of WrestleMania. Because why would you align yourself and give flowers and love fest and go out of your way to where you just finished almost 9 months to the date attacking Cody Rhodes? Chris, am I off base here, or
No,
talk to me?
no. I think you guys both said some good points. Look, this is how I feel about it, right? The last part of Samuel's line where he says, "I hope they don't run him out of the position." I'm kind of on that boat because this is not Triple H booking. That main event's not. I've been watching this guy book, and Kev, you know how much I loved the Black and Gold era. This is not Triple H's booking. This is The Rock coming in and saying, "This is what I think should happen." And we'll trust me, we will get to that soon. But I want to bring that up real quick, a small piece, because that has a part of this, right? Where The Rock says, on the Pat McAfee show, where he wanted to turn certain people heel, but Triple H, this and that again. We'll talk more about that, but right there, that tells me there's a disconnect. I don't know about you guys, but that tells me right away that there's a disconnect with, I guess Rock wanting to turn Cody heel, and then Triple H is like, why the hell would I do that? He's my number one babyface. He's making me the most money on live events. Like, are you nuts? There goes Dwayne's ego out the door for a second year in a row, because we know what happened last year. There goes 2 years in a row. Guys, this is Dwayne's ego's getting hurt. That's why he's not at WrestleMania, in my sole opinion. 2 years in a row, he didn't get what he wanted. What's he doing? He's punishing us by not showing up, inserting himself, and then leaving. And it's unfortunate because, and again, we will talk about all that, and I'm not going to go into that right now because I would like, Kepper to start that off. But it's kind of unfortunate because I've said this time after time. And again, this is the last thing I'll say because I know we have 3 people and we will all want to get our words in. But, my initial thought for The Rock coming back, when I mean coming back as being a part of the TKO board of directors, was to get that balance between businessman and people who know the business. It was supposed to be Dwayne Johnson being the middle guy, whether he liked it or not. That guy that's like, listen, he'll agree with Triple H when it's necessary, but he'll agree with Ari Emanuel when it's necessary. Example, Ari Emanuel and all those people, they're just businessmen marks. They want money. They don't give 2 craps about the business. They don't know 2 shits about the business. So when you have somebody like The Rock, who's the biggest name that business has ever had, he can tell you, he should be able to tell you what's right and what's wrong, and he should be able, him and Triple H should be on the same page. And the fact that they're not is, one, concerning because of how much power The Rock has, and it's disappointing because I'm kind of getting the vibes that The Rock is going to align himself more with the business guys at TKO instead of, trying to do what's right for the business that he wouldn't be shit without. So that's where I think this is going with this. I hope they don't run Triple H out of head of creative. It's going to piss off a lot of people, including myself. And again, with the whole actors, with the celebrities, that's not Triple H. That is TKO, Netflix, and Ari Emanuel. So again, there are stuff that we can blame Triple H for, but when it comes to more of the business side and the storylines involving The Rock, I think we need to question it a little more about who's actually doing what.
Good one there. I understand you said, we're going to move on to this one here. I understand you said this
Yeah,
for make good
already
point.
but that kind of had a
Oh,
line.
no. That was exactly where we're going to next. I understand that you said that The Rock is offended, hurt, and I'm going to play some reason why, and I agree with you with some video footage. But when you said about Ari Emanuel and the business aspect, The Rock never was under a learning tree of how to book the business and how to make the creative run. While Triple H, like it or not, was under the Vince McMahon learning tree, Pat Patterson learning tree. That's the same thing we say about Tony Khan, that never was under a learning tree of a major booker. He's a great matchmaker, but he's not a booker because he didn't learn the what, when, and why under a learning tree from a major booker. Neither does The Rock. You got to give that sling and arrow to The Rock as well. So, of course, he's going to take the TKO Endeavor's side on the aspect of making money. Remember, he made himself a billionaire with $7 to his name. That's his whole production, $7 production. And he's always going to try to make more money. He remembers the hard times, literally. Sammy, you want to add anything to this before we get into the La Greca spat and all the why The Rock, I think, is hurt?
I just wanted to, one of the thing I like, because I heard Chris says things and I'm like, Chris is just nailing this and nailing this, and you just added to that, because sincerely that's just the ball game here. The fact that he is the head, the CEO and everything on Seven Bucks production, he remembers the hard times. He knows what it means to be broke. So anything to line up those pockets, anything to be the man in charge, he loves to do that. As a business person, if I want to look at it as a business person, I cannot fault him for that. But as a human being and as a fan of this product, I hate the fact that you don't get to be here 100% of the time. Why would you just walk back in here and think you should just get? I believe the most painful thing here looking in is the fact that he saw himself with, am I going to get the supporting role again this year? That got to him. I believe that one really got to him big time. They was like, okay, I was able to let that slide last year. I played the supporting role. I'm back. I need the main character. And the man in charge said, no, 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 no. We can't do that. I believe that really
I agree.
pissed him off. That's why he showed up on Netflix to just destroy all the whole storyline. Destroyed it by crowning Roman Reigns tribal chief. Destroy Cody's role again by beating body with Cody, making us think, oh, he's just being Dwayne Johnson, the character. But indeed, inside of him, he knew what he was doing. I'm not going to show up. I'm going to fuck this up for him. And he did.
Well,
Well said, Samuel. I agree.
well, here's my thoughts on why I think The Rock is hurt. Let me add this here. Stopped it there because reaction. I didn't hear anybody booing. I didn't hear anybody booing. I didn't hear anybody say mashing their teeth. And that was January 1st of 2024. Did you hear any booing, Chris?
No.
Samuel, did you hear any booing?
I was watching that live too.
We're doing a watch along live. We all marked out.
No. No. I did not hear that. Even when, as a fan, I heard that, I was like, oh shit, it's on. It's on. That's what I kept saying to myself. It's on. It's on. Let's go.
And enter this idiot.
Here we go. Oh, I can't wait for this. I have some dude. He wrote. I got like 50,000. Oh, I got crapped on Twitter for this guy because of his Glazers. Let's talk about it.
Hopefully it plays. Is it playing? I'm not hearing it.
Nope, I don't hear it.
Chris, your microphone is really giving me some really feedback, like we're frying. Yeah, like we're frying fish. For some reason, I can't. It's freezing on me. Oh, it's going. Can you guys hear it?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, I guess they got it. They got to it because it's acting funny now. Ain't that a bitch? Well, he's one of the main reasons, the big corporate. If it were to play the sound, we would definitely will like it, but I'm surprised it's not playing the sound. Well, he went on the air and complained about it. And I checked this. This was, and now the computer decides it wants to freeze. Really, really, really. Did you guys hear booze, Samuel? No, I don't. No one's booing here, right? No one's booing here. So everybody's locked and loaded. I wish this freaking computer will. I'm gonna have to reset myself, but I'm gonna ask you guys. So far at this point at the timeline, Rock comes back night one of Raw. Says he wants to sit at the head of the table. We don't know the history, but I want to break it down because people tend to forget and they want to go with recent bias on why. Maybe we're trying to understand why The Rock didn't show up and didn't want to be part of this WrestleMania build, and why he might be sabotaging or going into business for himself. He comes, he shows up, he wants to be head of the table. Cody wins the Royal Rumble. Instead of pointing at the WrestleMania symbol, he decides to point at Roman Reigns by using the Young Bucks signal or the Kenny Omega's gun pistol. And then his is the next Friday night SmackDown, and this is what happens. Chris, am I off? I'm gonna reset my computer, my browser. Give me your thoughts.
It all goes back to where, and Samuel, you can give me a thumbs up. You can hear me, right? I think it's one of those things where
I can hear you. I can hear you.
I appreciate it, brother. It's one of those things where, I go back to where it's getting his ego hurt. It truly is getting his ego hurt. We all wanted this match at WrestleMania 39. I think Hollywood, that was the perfect time to have the match. Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble. Okay, that makes sense, right? Cody Rhodes won his Rumble. We guess it's time. Boom. WrestleMania 40. We had it right there. And then that clown from Busted Open ruined it. And then thousands of people want to come at me. Hundreds of people want to come at me because I'm telling the truth and you don't see it. And again, we'll talk about that. But you don't hear everybody won in this match. If not at 39, we all anticipated and we all said years from now, people were buying their tickets, Kevin Samuel. People were buying their tickets a year when they announced it was in Philly because of Rock and Roman. And they were angry with what we got. Now we still got The Rock teaming up with Roman. But that's not what we wanted. That's not, again, it doesn't always have to be what we want, but how long are you guys going to tease that match? How many times is The Rock going to go?
Sorry.
No, you're good. How many times is The Rock, and Kev, you know this, we cover sports here on this channel. How many times have you seen The Rock go on Pat McAfee, not this time, but during College Game Day, him go on Pat McAfee, him go on ESPN College Game Day, and brag about the fact that Rock and Roman was locked in like this. He went on national television and we don't got it. How long is he gonna tease it? Who's irresponsible? It's Dave LaGreca. Go ahead, Samuel.
Dave, personally for me, Dave can be Dave and do what Dave wants to do. But I just believe that maybe Triple H personally, you can also fault him for this. But I wish we could be privy to know how was the dialogue, how was the communication, because it can be so good on TV, it can be so polished, the fans, we can take it so good on TV, but if they are not communicating well backstage, and when I say when they should, personally for me, is Triple H and The Rock and the executives. If The Rock is not communicating very well with Triple H, he would feel some kind of way like, even if this is the greatest story ever told. But my guys have been here week after week putting in the work. So what makes you think that I can give you what you want? So maybe Rock is coming here with all this ego, with all this team, with all this flamboyancy, and not being, humble. And I'm just, putting theory out there. Maybe he did not really, the conversation was not really going great. That's why he did not transition well behind the scenes, and him getting that. And I believe one of the things that really broke the camel's back was the boo-boo face from Cody. I wish the camera did not pan to him, because the audience got another story. Because immediately we saw Cody's boo-boo face after he left. I wish he took the back. But the fact that he was walking down the highway and The Rock hugging him, I wish he never had any of that. That moment, we never had it, because you saw a man that was defeated. So
how's that? Let me pause you there. How is that on Triple H's fault? If the guy goes on a business for himself on national television, how is that Triple H's fault? If Cody Rhodes puts a boo-boo face, oh, I'm not in here, guys, feel sorry for me. How is that Triple H's fault?
Now this is where the question. I wish it 2 years or 5 years from now, there's a fucking documentary not produced by WWE where this shoot is being told. What happened there? Was it Triple H that told Cody to go out there and give a boo-boo face? We know Cody can be so emotional. We know Cody can, go. I'm not saying go to, do business for himself, but Cody can always want to add to the story. Maybe Cody felt, if I give the boo-boo face, the fans might like. I want to know what was his mindset.
That's going into business for himself. That's the definition of going in business for yourself, Samuel.
Because that effed up the entire thing, because immediately the audience, the audience in the arena did not see that. Immediately the TV people saw it. People watching on the viewers saw it. They were like, oh no, he's been rude, he's been screwed, he started trending. We were like, did you see that face? The arena did not see it. It was us that were watching from home, the Twitter folks, the IWC, and obviously, like a guy went out of his way. He was like, oh, F this. I'm wearing my pink robe. I'm ranting.
Here we go. I'm gonna play that.
Everything just.
I'm gonna play that real quick. Let me play that real quick.
This is corporate Rock now. It's not The Rock. It's Dwayne Johnson, board of director of TKO. We are now seeing the full evolution of corporate Rock, the final boss. But what does this mean for Cody? What does this mean for WrestleMania? What does this mean for the Universal Championship? I honestly don't know. I think as of right now, and he reminded us tonight that Cody took away the Roman Rock matchup. I don't think this has anything to do with the head of the table, Roman Reigns, at least not right now. Now it's all about The Rock wanting to own Cody Rhodes. This has a lot of shades and similarities of Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is what The Rock wants from Cody Rhodes. He wants to own Cody Rhodes. He mentioned his soul. And this is going to be, I think, a story leading into WrestleMania about The Rock trying to tempt Cody Rhodes into being that.
That was this year's actually, but I'm trying to find next year's, and for some reason it's been scrubbed from the internet. I can't find him going in the first diatribe, and I spent all morning looking for that clip of him crying with the pink robe and telling people to revoke and don't accept that. This is him recently. He put on the pink robe recently there for him. To me, it was supposed to be, like he said it there in that video, it was supposed to be Rock and Roman. Roman and Rock since childhood. You saw it on Young Rock where they wanted to wrestle one another. Listen, Rock is going to be 52 to 53 years old May 2nd. He doesn't have that much ring time in professional wrestling. Didn't you ever think that's a story that he would like to finish to wrestle his family member with a big storyline where Roman has been carrying the company and wrestle him and especially in Philadelphia and the state of Pennsylvania where the Anonoli Fatu family had been there for many years. They have the Sika and the Wild Samoans lived there. Rock lived there in Bethany after Hawaii. There's a lot of history and love for that state. And you don't think they wouldn't want to have that match there? Do you think he got frustrated or upset or hard feelings? Yes, you have to be a professional. At the end of the day, we're all still human. Isn't it what we're saying about Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton feud? I think Rock was just upset that was taken away from him. And I think he's hell bent on making the life impossible, fellas.
Yeah, let me get in there real quick. I agree. I agree because this is the second year in a row. We can talk about last year, but this is the second year in a row he didn't get what he wanted. And again, you can't blame Triple H when The Rock's going on national television and just talking shit. Like, what's Triple H gonna do? Hey, don't go on this, and talk about that. He's not his boss. It's the other way around. So I want to know what's going on. I hope there's no personal animosity between the two.
I hope not. I'm gonna play. Let me see if I can play this clip, and I want to get Samuel in this conversation. We played that one that we told you that I wanted to get the boo-boo face. Again, sorry, my computer's acting weird. For some reason, I don't know if it's a StreamYard issue or what, because we've been streaming on playback, and I have no issues of freezing or any of that nonsense. The minute I go on playback on StreamYard, it decides all of a sudden it has a conundrum to freeze and not do what I need to do. All the watch-alongs I do all 7 days a week. Today I got some substance and prepared. It wants to act like a jackass. So I don't know what's going on with the StreamYard application. I'm just saying that. I'm just putting it out there. I'm burying them because they're not putting me over right now. They're making me look like a buffoon here. But we'll move on here. Chris and Samuel, we fast forward here. At the end of the day, he never showed up. He bamboozled the people who spent over thousands and thousands of dollars to go to WrestleMania for the tickets, the airlines, the food, WrestleMania World, the meet and greets, all that stuff. At the end of the day, WWE is not thinking about the blue-collar, hardworking fans that spend their money to get entertained and escape. We're talking about all this nonsense, politicking, who's in business for themselves, who's not in business for themselves, who's with TKO, who's worrying about corporate greed. Because at the end of the day, these corporate fat cats who are out there are still continue to get to make more money and profit off of us.
Yeah, I guess I'll go. It's a little a shame. And these ticket prices, we're talking about corporate, you're talking about that stuff real quick before we talk about, let's talk about that a little bit. It's crazy. And you see talent like Randy Orton even admitting like, holy hell, you guys paid that much money for, like, you can't, like, what? I don't know why they raised the ticket prices so much, especially when they're doing a lot of these, they're so money hungry. They're doing all these meet and greets that you have to pay all these. You're paying what, $600 for a 30-second conversation with your favorite wrestler, and then all these streaming services, which they BS'd us about. Oh, this is a new era, blah blah blah. Yeah, again, I don't believe reports, but there's people saying that Netflix is still on a time limit, this and that. The advertisement placing sucks. The Netflix era has been not that great.
Right.
You can't take a family of 4 to a freaking wrestling event anymore when they come to your hometown because TKO wants a money profit and they don't realize all the freaking fees on Ticketmaster and parking, all that other shit. And it sucks to what they're doing because as much as we hated the guy, Vince made it affordable. I'm gonna say it. He made it easy for a family of 4 to go watch WWE Monday Night Raw.
Heck, AEW makes it affordable. AEW makes it affordable.
I can literally go sit 2 rows behind ringside at All In for like $230. Like, and I'm thinking about I've thought about going to All In before I've thought about going to WrestleMania. Like, at least, like, I give, again, AEW, again, say what you want, but they have some wrestlers that people like, that people know, and they make it affordable. Hell, like Kev always likes to say, right, go to your freaking local McDonald's. Maybe they'll give you an AEW ticket. But it's kind of unfortunate, and it's a little crazy. and now they're going international. I wonder how much those international people are paying, and I'll align it to Samuel because I don't know if Samuel, I don't know if WWE comes to Nigeria or comes to that area in the Africa area, but I'm curious, how would it be for like international people outside of the U.S. for all these freaking prices and events and shit. So you gotta keep an eye on that. It's kind of it might get worse.
Yeah, guys, Samuel.
Uh, um, I personally I know for sure. Definitely, if it is crazy over the US, it's definitely not easy over here. I remember when they went all of the live events they've gone. Is it France, Europe, everybody, Germany? They are all complaining the same. Everybody's complaining the prices are crazy. Now this is where
Mm.
we would would love to give the blame to the respective people. This is where Triple H, I don't even know how the power dynamic really works there. Does he really have a say in the ticket prices? I believe he won't even really have like a concrete say in it, based on the fact that, have you even checked all of the shows they've done since he came into power? We've not seen half buildings. They are always packing into the grills, and people are still complaining that the tickets are high. I believe they can only get this memo if people would stop going. Maybe they released 10,000 tickets and 5,000 went. They released 10,000 and 2,000 went. That's the only message they will get. But as long as they're releasing 10, they buy the 10 out. They release more seats. People buy it out. There is nothing you will tell me. They will keep. I was talking to somebody recently about WrestleMania. He and his son, they went out there to Vegas this past weekend, and they were there. And I was asking him. He said he paid $400 to be at the almost at the ringside. In fact, at ringside in Philadelphia last year, but he paid all 1,500 for nosebleeds, and I'm like, that is
Oof.
triple the amount you paid. That's triple the amount you paid to sit at almost ringside in Philadelphia. He said yes. I'm like, you still went? He said yes, because he promised to give his son the experience. So you have people like that have those stories that be like, oh, I know I'm about to pay quadruple the price of the tickets that I paid for the last event I went to, but oh, because it's my birthday, oh, because of it, and they know WWE PR team, creative, they know all of this, they know it. So that's why they tend to do it. So only when the fans refuse to go to some shows, or maybe the tickets are really low, I believe that's when they can get them more. But as long as you look at those arenas, it's packed to the grills. Look at those stadiums, it's packed. There's no way instead you'll be seeing prices go up. And he told me something. He said, few days leading up to the event, maybe let's say 4 or 3 days removed to the event, the prices get cut down. And I'm like, that is still very manipulative. He said, how? I said, somebody that wants to go for an event, if they release the tickets today and the event's like a month from now, if you want to go for the event, you still get to pay for it. So they know the strategies. So I'm not going to wait out till 4 days to the event, knowing fully well that I might not there might not be any possibility that I might get those tickets, and then I'll say I'll pay it. Nobody is going. Anybody that wants to go for, like Chris is saying, oh, he wants to go for all in. All in is in July. He has, like, let's say 2 months to the time. So if he really wants to go, maybe by May, June, he will make a decision. There's no way if Chris is really going, Chris will wait till all in weekend to get the tickets. Knowing fully well that he might not maybe feel they need to go there again. So I just believe all these things are strategies to like get the audience there. And if the audience refuse to turn up, that's when they will get the memo. If not, this price will still be going up. How can somebody pay $400 for seats close to the ringside last year, and this year you pay 1,500 and you are in the nosebleeds? That's crazy to me. That's triple the price. So imagine what those people ringside paid to be in Las Vegas. So it's just crazy. And I'm like, I don't even know how they're gonna do this thing. It's crazy because they have a full capacity crowd every single episode and every single show. So, ugh, that's madness.
So let me ask you this: do you feel like you're being outpriced by the WWE? I'm already outpriced.
Do you? Oh, please repeat. I did not hear that.
Do you feel that you're being outpriced to go to a WWE event?
If there is, I wish I need to get that part. I'm sorry.
Let me write it. Give me a minute to write it. Chris, I'll go to Chris and I'll go back to you, Samuel.
I don't know. That's a good question. Because every time they go to Hershey, I'm going. I don't, I think, I don't know. Pay-per-view is 100%. Again, I just maybe because of my market, I live in Hershey. I mean, I don't really care what's saying. Like Hershey, Pennsylvania. Like we're not Philadelphia. We're not Pittsburgh. We're not any of these big cities. So maybe that has something to do with it. But me personally, I like if I just look at some like
All right,
a
so
random SmackDown on, like, let's say, right, Savannah, Georgia, boom, let's go to a SmackDown right here. I think this ticket. So yeah, I mean, it would just depend where the seating is. So like a club seat up here in Georgia, so 250. I think that's a little bit. It's a little bit more than I would. So yes, I would say yes. And I'm sorry, I just wanted to pull it up because I wanted to see how ticket prices are now, because I haven't been doing it. They haven't came here since last October, so I haven't really checked. But I would say so. I would say they're a little more, and usually we're up where I sit in like the club area up here, like when you see the TV and you can see yourself up top there, those should not be almost $300. Those should be like 200 max. So they're a little, yeah. I would say so. I would say so. If it's outside of Hershey, yes.
All right, Samuel, do you feel you're being outpriced?
Yes, definitely. I feel we are being outpriced by the company. The only thing I know for sure that the people you see in those buildings, the people you see in those arenas, the people you see in those stadiums are the people that wants to be there, because the same prices that we are, you're like, what the hell, you paid 1,500 to be in the nosebleeds? Somebody is paying that. Somebody is paying that for their child. Somebody is paying that for their fiance. Somebody is paying that for their partners, and they are going out there. People that just want to go out there, like they have planned it. I'm like, okay, they're coming to my town. How much is it? They are planning ahead of time. So WWE knows this, and I think they have made up their mind that unless these people try to boycott us and not want to be there, then we'll look into it. But as long as we release these tickets and they still want to come and they are still demanding for it, we are going to raise the stakes higher. So that's just how I feel. The people that are there in those buildings are really those that want to be there, and they will not cut this thing down. Obviously, you heard them come out, like Triple H come out and said, social media is not real. The IWC is not a real place. It's the people in the arena that matters, and those are the people it's not that they are catering mostly to them, but those are the people that they really are working with. I mean, if they are cheering my people, then why should I care what somebody on Twitter is saying? So I just believe we are being outpriced, and they will not get the memo up until people start boycotting them. So for now, they are still in their honeymoon phase. They are still getting the money, and people are still paying big bucks for it. Heaven knows what they're going to do. Money in the Bank is going back to LA into a dome, and that's one of the most priced ticket I had as of this year. Like that show was the Raw on Netflix was priced as F. So imagine they knew the money they did there. They're like, oh shit, we need to get the show back there again, and they are going back there in June, and they are doing 2 shows, separate arenas. Now I saw they are doing combo tickets. Like I don't like the money they are making is crazy. I don't know if you saw the news where the TKO monthly payment was being released, like what he earns monthly, and I'm like seeing money in billions. I'm like, oh shit. So like it's crazy. These people are really packing. They're really making it over there, and they won't stop until people stop going. That's just how I feel.
I think ticket prices for PLE for WrestleMania has always gone up and always been due to the dictation of the cost of living and money that costs us to rent these arenas and all that. I think it's been going on from the inception of WrestleMania 1. what hurts the wrestling fan, us, the blue collar wrestling fan that works 9 to 5, wakes up every morning and decides to take a family of 4 to watch the professional wrestlers and get part of a wrestling company, is that TKO's greed of taking away the house shows. Because if you have a house show out there in Hershey or in Poconos or here in Daytona in Florida or not big city, not big arenas, like, they do that when it comes Lakeland, Florida. If you're in Florida, you understand what I mean. Or New York City, the Westchester County Center, the Mid Hudson Civic Center. Those house shows, they're affordable for a family of 4. You could take a family of 4 on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon, and you have a nice card of wrestlers, and you see them take pictures. Our very own Canary with that picture of Charlotte Flair being live in person. Chris has told us many times his interaction with Damian Priest going down the aisle on a house show.
I just posted my video of me and AJ Styles. He saw me out of the crowd, and I went, and I have it on video, and he went. And that was at a house show. He wouldn't do that on TV. And I miss house shows, and that's the big disappointment, Kev.
And that's where the affordability is for us wrestling fans, because you feel now more connected to the professional wrestling industry because you were able to go into that house show, take your kid and get that 2-second interaction with the 2-suite where you don't have to spend 5 hours on a line for $200 for a 20-second photo op, and then they usher you off. And no, that takes with you in great, because he stopped from his show going down the aisle and acknowledged me and thanked me, hold up my sign, or gave me a fist pound. And then guess what? Now when these astronomical prices for these PLEs, like coming up for Money in the Bank, WrestleMania, as a parent, you saw the joy and the happiness it brought to your child or your daughter. And you say, you know what? I'm going to say, we're going to WrestleMania. It's like when you go to Disney World. We're going to Disney World. We're going to WrestleMania, because why? That experience in the moments. But if you're only going to have PLEs and they're all going to keep getting more and more expensive, you price us out. Because you know what? You can't give that opportunity, that moment to your child or your grandchild. You won't have that. If it wasn't for WWE house shows at Madison Square Garden being run, I don't think I'd be a wrestling fan, because my uncle used to take us on those house shows, and my grandfather. We used to go all the time to those different house shows. How many times I saw Mr. Perfect wrestle Hulk Hogan at Madison Square Garden, or Hulk Hogan versus Haku at Madison Square Garden house show. But you know what? It was fun because it was a house show where I could screen, interact, and get close to see my favorite wrestlers. Those are the things that
I hate that they're getting rid of that. And I hate that they're getting rid of that, because if you look at this, right, it's going to be bad. But look, you see AJ Styles coming. You see my 2-suite. Right, and I don't want to play too much, but look at the kid next to me. He was like, yeah,
he's excited.
Yo. Like I didn't know the kid. He was just next to me, but he was like, yo, AJ. He had the gloves. I was like, listen, when AJ comes, I'm gonna come to my seat because I'm taller. And then whatever. Like that's fun. Like that's fun as a wrestling fan. Like I was hyped for him because he had the gloves on. I was like, let me get my 2-suite, and then boom, get in front of me. And it was great. Like that kid was hype as hell. It was like, yeah, like, and they're again. And that kid was with like his little sister and his 2 parents, and they were ringside. So like I don't know why, if it's something with the talent taking a break from themselves, I understand that. I think you could do it a couple days a month. You don't have to do it every week like you've been doing it. You could do 1 month you go crazy, 1 month you don't. 1 month you don't, 1 month you go crazy. You can alternate something like that. I think I agree with Kev that the house shows with TKO getting rid of it is disappointing, because again, Kev just said his examples. I literally showed you an example, and we want those back. I'm not spending $400 to meet AJ Styles for 30 seconds when some fanatics worker's just going to tell me, all right, go. Like, fuck you. Like, so yeah, TKO just, they've stopped thinking about the fans recently.
I tend to agree with you there. I know. And why don't you use talent that's not being on television and get them out there, see if they can get over with the crowd. Samuel, go ahead. You wanted to say something.
I believe I want to wear my tentative hat now and just think of different theories. So I listened to you guys share this. So one of the reasons why I love this is you guys are not just saying these things because you are saying it because you have experiences. And Chris just literally showed us an example. You said that too, with your uncle taking you to those shows. Now I believe they've had this sit down and understood I believe they've asked this question. The big box, the big money men. I've asked this question: what is the use and the reason for these live shows? And then people like Triple H should be like, oh yeah, that's where we try out new stories. That's where we make these wrestlers see how they are going to be, whatever we're going to put on TV is going to be used, how we should go about it. That's where the fans get to have intimate setting with the wrestlers. I know he's giving them all these answers, and they're like, okay, so that's it, and they'll leave the meeting and they'll come back the next day and they'll say this is the reason why. And okay, and they also say, so you are saying we should not take this type of events out because all of these things will be taken away, right? And they would say yes, and they will now come back and be like, okay, this is why we're going to take it away, and this is how you're going to make it back. So now you want intimate moments with the wrestlers, right? They said yes. Now they are releasing tickets for breakfast with the superstars. They are releasing photo hubs that is 20 seconds. They are releasing after party tickets. They are releasing WWE World whenever they go to any big shows. So they are like, we are going to take away all of those things from the live events that they can get from the small amount they're going to pay, and then we're going to make them pay in segments. So you choose, are you going for breakfast or you're going to after party, and just think maybe you can catch any of the superstars and have the ultimate feeling with them if you can during the after party, or would you be able to have that during the breakfast, or would you be able to have that maybe during the photo hub? You could be so you could get lucky that you can get more than 30 seconds. I believe they sat down and thought of all of these ideas and brought it up and tried the theories. And as long as the selling out is paying, they'll be going with it. Autograph signings is now like a big thing now, because that's like, it's as if the fans are saying that's the only way I can see this wrestler and even have a moment with them, because live events is not a thing anymore like that. So I believe they really sat down and no matter which way you want to look at it, why live events should matter, they are taken away. Now, the wrestlers, how are they going to get better? How is someone like Jade going to get this thing? Oh, let her come to the performance center 5 days a week. I mean, if she was coming 3 days, they will say, come 5 days. You want to train more? Go there. Or they can send her to different schools. I believe that's why they are signing deals with all of these different schools, with the rest of the Booker T schools, the Rollins schools, and other schools. Okay, send them there. Let them go to our partners. Just go and try us. Go keep training, keep doing. But we are not putting out any live event shows. And another crazy thing is, if there's a live event in a smaller city, smaller arenas, now, if maybe let's say in New York, as you said, there's a live event that will be coming into New York, and then there's also a Monday Night Raw and a SmackDown, which the prices are different because that's a live event, that's on Netflix, that's on USA Network. Now you would choose to go to the live, the house show and have your intimate feeling and sit back at home, boycott that price, and then watch on TV. That's not what they want. They know you choose that, and that's why they are taking that away from you. So you'll be forced to buy those tickets, come for those shows, pay for those different segments of autograph signing, breakfast, after party. It's a business. It's like the business mind game is going crazy. Like they're just thinking of it. And the painful thing is that the hardcore fans, we are the ones that are suffering now, because we the 9 to 5, we the passionate ones, we can't really afford all of this. Now the casuals are the ones that are like, oh, I want to go and start with Jey Uso and post on my Instagram. And those ones doing the OnlyFans, I'm not shaming anybody here. Those doing, having the easy money, they can go and do all of that. But you, knowing fully well that you had this in easy ways, and like, what am I have to go through all of these hoops to get to this? No. So it's just a crazy situation over there. So I believe as long as the WWE is under TKO, these might, like all of these passionate things, we should just start forgetting it, because more implementation of ways will be brought out for us not to even want. And it's crazy. It's sad to look at it, but that's how they want to make their money, and they are making it. And okay, it's sick. It's crazy.
Then you can't have your cake, eat it in two. When I mean you can have your cake, eat it too, is if you want to make your money and you want to take the house shows, then you have to allow people to criticize you. You can't tell them to be quiet, sit down, and don't say anything, or don't complain or have a gripe about the product or the booking or the outcome. You can't go tell guys like, and I'm not against, I cannot stand, I'm going to say it again, I'm not a fan of Dave LaGreca. But you got to let him have his words. You got to have JD from New York say his word, his piece. You got to have, the Solomon Monster say his word on a podcast. Also here on the Heel of the Ring, You have to let us say at our pace. If we don't like something and we criticize it, you can't tell us to be quiet and not watch it. Because if you're not giving us where we could see this, the house shows, or we can buy a ticket to go support you, and the only way we're going to express ourselves, instead of going there and cheering and giving you our money because we can't afford it, then you can't just tell us here to be quiet and sit in silence. You can't have your cake eaten too. You have to listen to our criticism. You have to listen to our distake or our dislike, or the same way you want our cheers and the same way you want us to pump our credit card and our money. You have to also hear the disgruntled part of it as well, my friend. You can't have your cake eaten too.
Well said.
And I sincerely believe they know this. I believe they know this. They know this for sure. And they can keep telling us not to criticize. They can keep telling us not to be a part of this. But it's just still going to be just them saying those things. We don't have to, adhere to them. You think if the fans did not go down on them after that night too, we will not get maybe Raw after Mania was still going to be great. But I believe with the way they got hammered, they were like, no, we can't keep this. We need to go all hands on deck. And they delivered on it. So these criticisms will still be coming in. They can just say what they have to say. We, the fans, will have to choose what we have to do, because I'm not going to be the celebrities that you pack all over the front seat and they'll pay out their money. They can afford that. They can want to do that. But if I don't like something, I'm going to say I don't like it. Nobody goes to a restaurant and buy food and then they don't like it and you expect them to come back there or not say anything about it just so that the manager will be happy. No. We are talking to the fucking manager. Bring your ass out here. What the fuck is this? What did you serve me? So criticism will still always be there in the world of pro wrestling, whether they like it or not, whether Triple H likes it or not, whether The Rock likes it or not. It will always be there, and they should have to eat their cake, and they will not have it. We'll take the cake from them.
Yeah, you can't have both. You can't have both. You can't have both. You have to find out which to have a happy medium there. And I know it's hard to please people in the wrestling community or the wrestling business. I get it. I understand that. Because again, they just had a terrible. In a nutshell, this WrestleMania was the worst WrestleMania for PR perspective. Not in ring, maybe the main event storyline. It sums it up when you see Stone Cold Steve Austin and you get excited for seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin show up, the shattered glass, but then he rams his FTV into the barricade. That's how I felt with the whole WrestleMania weekend. It sums it up all in a nutshell. Chris.
Yeah, I agree. Again,
I'm gonna find that picture right now. Let me find that picture.
We could keep talking about the main event all we want, but I
I'm
don't
getting
know
to her too.
I don't have much to say like Samuel. I don't know what else we want in wrestling. I said this, a couple times earlier in the week. It's we got to stop letting the main event just determine the whole show. I don't know.
Look, and then of course the only person that had a great weekend.
Yeah, we've been on his ass all week about that.
He said he had a phenomenal weekend on Bully Ray's sausage party, Sin City sausage party on the rooftop. I mean, he was out there. I don't know if he was getting roofies or what, but he came back with some type of illness. He was the only one that had
he sausaged out, bro. He had a good time taking pictures with his sausage brothers and all this. Oh my god, Eddie was on the rooftop of the Palms with Bubba Ray Dudley eating sausage with his oh my god.
Now I want to wrap this crap up with The Rock finally. This comment. The business is a work, always been, always will be, every aspect of it, every match, every interview. Please join me and Cody, Brian, the rest of the creative decisions so you can expand your perspective. Until then, stop ranting. Okay. Didn't help him.
Let me go. Can I go before Samuel?
No, go. I want you to go. Go for it. The floor is yours.
So this is bullshit. How we know? Look, I'm not. I haven't been the biggest Dave fan in the last couple of weeks. I will admit. But thanks for telling us that the business is a work. I'm not gonna lie. I did listen to Dave's response after this, and I can't blame Dave too much because
I've got it too. When you're ready,
you can't. Yeah, I won't be long. It's just thanks for telling us that it's a work. Like we know that. We know that. I don't understand what was The Rock's point? I mean, is it because stuff's bad? It's not a work when everyone's talking about, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. It's not a work when John Cena's on when First Take and Get Up or doing a whole freaking segment on you and John Cena. It's not a work then though. It's not a work when, oh my God, like come on. I'm not gonna talk too much about The Rock, but you went from Final Boss and then that Netflix debut killed it. Killed everything. They killed everything. I'm gonna go drink tequila with the boys, with my boy Cody. It ruined everything. At this point, I don't. I mean, obviously, I want The Rock's presence because we need to know why Cena's whatever. It's good, great television. But at this point, get it over with. Get it over with. We know it's a work, but you go backstage and go tell that to these wrestlers who, put their bodies on the line. Go out and tell the fans who me and Kev spent fucking hours streaming, watching all this stuff for you to tell us that it's a work. Thanks, The Rock. We appreciate that, asshole.
I'm gonna play two videos. The first one, again, colorful language. So if you have little kids, I'm giving you a warning. The language is very extremely colorful. Here we go. Hopefully it uploads today now. I guess it's not uploading, Chris.
Dude, I see it, but StreamYard's so.
But I cannot believe the same people that bitched and moaned about this guy 15 years ago, about this guy 10 years ago. He buries everybody, never puts anybody over. Now you're surprised by what we saw last night. Oh, it's going to be okay come WrestleMania. We're going to get The Rock. We got no Rock. Haven't seen The Rock since Elimination Chamber. But we got a lot of Travis Scott. Ugh. And you want to make Cody Rhodes look weak? Textbook making somebody weak last night at WrestleMania on the biggest stage that there is. On the biggest stage. You just threw everything that you did for Cody last year and you threw it right out the fucking window. For what? A guy that's going to be gone at the end of the year. But I love John Cena. Fuck you. Because all I heard was you bitch and moan about this motherfucker, and now I gotta hear it on fucking Twitter, on Instagram.
Last
people
year.
Bitching and moaning, leaving Allegiant Stadium. This is what you fucking wanted. This. Where's the fucking camera? This is what you fucking wanted. This is what you fucking wanted.
No. That's what you wanted.
That's what you. No.
Enjoy the peace.
Dave, no, because I got shit on in the I'm going to let Samuel go after this, but I'm going first because I got shit on in the comment section in the Busted Open Radio when they posted this by his freaking fan base. Dave, I've added you all this time, and I'm pretty sure you've seen all of it, but now I'm going to let my voice do the talking right here live on the Sports Jedi Network, Dave. This was the nerve of you to call out John Cena fans. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. You did the same thing last year because you didn't want Roman Reigns to walk out of WrestleMania 40 as champion. Oh, Roman Reigns, or Cody Rhodes, oh, The Rock comes back. Shut up, because you said in the beginning of the year, and I'm going to find this clip and upload it on my Twitter. You said in the beginning of the year, oh, this WrestleMania really doesn't need The Rock. The Rock doesn't need it. We're not needed. He's not needed. We're good. We have Roman Reigns. We have Seth Rollins. We have all this. Bullshit. Because now you're on a rant talking about how much the WrestleMania needed him. Make it make sense. What side are you on? Do you want The Rock to show up or do you not want The Rock to show up? Because every other month it's something different. It's something different. And now you have the nerve to go out there on your platform and cry about the fan base of John Cena trying to get what they want. What the fuck did you do last year? You ruined everybody's dream match of getting Rock and Roman. At least this year, we had Roman and we had Cody and Cena locked. There was nothing else. There was nothing that you could have done to screw it up. There was nothing. This was gonna happen with or without the fans happening anyway. You think that WWE listens to Busted Open to try to see if they're gonna change the creative plans? No, they probably had this shit locked in months ago. I don't understand Dave's logic sometimes when it comes to him calling out the fans when he's a part of that same group that goes out there, moans and complains, that doesn't get what they want, and then when they get when he gets what he wants, he talks about it, boom, and now he's on to the next thing. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You said months ago this WrestleMania didn't need The Rock. Now you're on a rant that this WrestleMania was horrible because The Rock didn't show up. You really need to make sure you have your receipts. You got to watch what you say because shit's going to haunt you in the ass in the long run, Dave. You sound wrong. You sound like a hypocrite. The nerve of you. And you're too gullible to even realize that last year was all you and Busted Open. You don't do the show with a bunch of marks. You do the show with 3 fucking Hall of Famers. That's all.
Yeah, and they know how to rob him and know what to say and know how to get the attention and the verbiage for the community to get up and raw and change it. So all those, you don't tell me all those people, all his co-hosts that are sitting there, they're not going to coach him or tell him, make an impact and listen, because come on. I said it yesterday. If I would have had 2 Hall of Famers, and no disrespect to you gentlemen, I'm happy you guys are joining me here. Again, if I were to do the watch-alongs with it could be any other former WWE wrestlers in the business, people will watch us by the droves. If I would have had even the Blue Meanie, or if I would have had anyone, Steve Blackman, anyone, or any of the divas back then, or female wrestlers join me to do a watch along, we'll be in the 100,000s and we'll be very impactful and look at Maven. Maven doesn't bring anything. Only talks about how Undertaker, he dropkicked Undertaker out of the Royal Rumble and they made him. That's his podcast. He got almost 300,000 subscribers like that, just talking about that because he's Maven. Simple. And he says it. I hope the stream would have not failed me, because I have a clip saying how much influential and how powerful his voice is in the wrestling community. David Greca saying it with his mouth a year ago, and I clipped it, and it's on my X. It's on my X. I'm gonna try to see if I pick it up. Samuel, you've been quiet. Go.
Personally for me, if you guys have not been wrong in a lot of things you are saying, and I'll be the first one to say yes. Triple H said something that resonated with me as a pro wrestling fan during the Punk Stephanie's Places that I reviewed a couple of weeks back, when he said something pertaining to he and CM Punk's relationship. He said he told Phil when they had the conversation, like, if you are still the same man you were 10 years ago, then you wasted 10 years of your life. If I'm still the same man I was 10 years ago, then I wasted 10 years of my life. Meaning that everybody has to have evolution, everybody has to have growth in their life, right? So I believe personally, if we compare these 2 years, last year, sincerely, I'm not here trying to say, oh, Dave was all right in everything, or is the almighty and all of that, but he wasn't wrong when he said, like, we did not actually need The Rock last year. Obviously, leading up to him coming in January, the story was already going in with Cody trying to reclaim and get his redemption, right? Him coming in with the bubble face, with the overtaking, everything was just a clusterfuck, but they were able to manage through that, and he birthed one of the best pro wrestling characters of this generation, with The Rock becoming the final boss. Like, how they were able to turn that shit to get for us to be able to imagine. We went in saying, oh, we don't really need him, to saying, wow, we need, like, if The Rock wasn't part of this, we don't see where this shit could have gone. Now, you establish that we were able to buy in for the first time. Shut your mouth and enjoy the ride. We did, right? He now put a pause, not only a pause. He kept us on hold by giving Cody a gift. Don't break my heart again. Now, a year later, you came back in. For the first time, we needed you for this WrestleMania. Everybody saying how we needed The Rock, even Dave himself admitted we need him for this WrestleMania because he's not feeling the same vibe without him. We didn't need him last year, we need him this year. And he chose to. Now, Cody broke his heart. If you want to look at the storyline base, he says everything is a work. Cody did break his heart by not coming. If he felt, maybe to him. Now, Sakev and Chris, I don't want to really go long here, but this thing just got me thinking. I'm like, maybe The Rock should not really want to be a part of WrestleMania this year. That is why he came in during the Netflix debut to close on the two stories that we had pending. Closed on Cody, closed on Roman. Maybe after that show, they told him, Rock, are you closing on the show? We need you, we need you, we need you. And okay, we have another opportunity. Let's go say things on NXT. He went in there, blab, all of that. It's just a whole lot of craziness that led up to this moment. We needed him. So I don't know. Okay. I don't know what the mindset was. I don't know. It's crazy.
But then he interjected himself in the Elimination Chamber. If he was going to close things on Netflix, then he should have not showed back up and claim his soul and done the Elimination Chamber, Samuel, on that rebuttal. Then don't come in there. And he says that because of ticket sales. I don't think so.
That is the point I'm asking. Okay, ticket sales. If you needed to be there, why would you interject yourself in the storyline? Couldn't you just come in there like a celebrity and then announce the ticket attendance for the day?
Exactly.
Something like that. Like, did you have to come in? Did you have to come in to sell a soul? And maybe let's just play devil's advocate here. That he was okay. Let me come in there and ask Cody for a soul, leading up to the Elimination Chamber. Then during the Elimination Chamber, we'll have that moment and I will go. But there's what was his mindset that you come in there and you spill that man's blood on the dates that you wrote the day his father died, and you spill that blood there, and we're going to forget that and we'll let you go and let Cena handle your dirty work. There's no, if at least even did a video to explain something. Maybe after that, they said nothing. 6 weeks, nothing. How are you going to? How was he able to sit back home, watch from his couch when everybody is waiting in Las Vegas, waiting for him? That was I'm like, what was the team thinking? But no, The Rock said everything is a work, so we should forget about it. We should not be thinking. That's what he said. We should forget about it. That is a work. That way, it's all fake. That's what he said. So, I don't know.
Damn, Kev, you're really testing it today. Your mic's muted. You gotta mute your mic, brother. Dave LaGreca says The Rock. Yeah, I mean, this was the original video, I believe. Yeah, a year ago.
The Rock says, yeah, I believe, yeah, this is the first.
This was the original video going on a year ago. And
the original.
He cried like a little baby right here, Samuel.
Personal, because I'm a grown ass man. Yeah. With a national platform, a national radio show that's highly successful, where, you know what? Because I'm passionate, personal, because I'm a grown ass man, with a national platform, a national radio show that's highly successful, where, you know what? Because I'm passionate about something, and I would think that The Rock would want that, and the WWE would want people.
There you see where The Rock says, yeah, he says it right there. You would think The Rock would want influential people. He says he has influence.
Exactly. That means he's interfering and getting involved in it. Because I have a platform. I have a big platform. So right there, you're fucking admitting that you are hijacking the creative and hijacking the minds of the IWC and the wrestling community. Because they're going to say, but I know the wrestling community says, but we think for ourselves. Do you? Because all you do is, I see a lot of you guys and the IWC copy and pasting. And if I got to throw names out, there's a lot of you motherfuckers that are out there copy and pasting other tweets that people say, oh, Cody Rhodes is in Disney World. All the motherfuckers are copy and pasting the same shit, the same reports. Because one guy said it. Sean Ross Sapp said it. Let's copy and paste it. Oh, yeah. This is Corey from Orlando. Yes, they're copy and pasting. You all do it. You all do it. and that's why you guys are parrots. And instead of finding out the information yourself, and you get manipulated by a guy like Greca. That's why we're in the state that we are as wrestling community, man.
And sometimes I'm like, are we supposed to blame the fans here? Because if you look at Dave actually, when he says he has a platform, he has a platform. That's almost 20 years platform, right? And then you add the Dave Meltzer's platform. That's another platform that has people on it. And then you have the Jim Cornettes. So those are like the three people, the three. What did he say, Chris?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so if we have the Busted Open platform, we have Jim Cornette's platform, we have Dave's platform. Like, it's a whole lot. Now everybody copies and pastes these three platforms. So now it's just like a whole big game. And this the wrestling promotions, the wrestling bookers, they know for sure that these people have the platform and they have people that listens to them and everything. So they are going to get influenced by them. We are easily influenced. Now imagine John came in here, hated after Elimination Chamber, but almost a night before Mania, they literally were booing Cody. They booed Cody during WrestleMania because they're like, John and line. So it's just like we are easily influenced. We change minds every single day. We can wake up on Monday like, oh, we are supporting Zelina Vega, and then on Friday we're like, fuck her. So it's just like a whole that's wrestling fans. When Brian said wrestling fans are
but you're missing the point, my friend. You're missing the whole point. They're influential people. So when they're going to tell you something, you're going to believe it. It could be fucking sunny with no clouds in the sky, and if they tell you there's a couple of clouds, you're going to say the skies are gray because they said it's gray. That's my point. They have their tongue has authority and power on changing people's perspective, mind thinkings. That's my whole point.
Exactly what I'm trying to say here is since the fans listen to this, we get influenced a lot. Imagine let's use for just a simple case of sometimes I wish the dead shit was not a thing. Sometimes I wish the podcasters for the influential ones, like let's call the Dave platform out here, where he has Hall of Famers, and we know for sure they know some things. They know people that know people that can tell them things. So imagine where during WrestleMania things will be floating. We are thinking, oh, is it Rusev? Is it Aleister Black? News was already going. Why should we be like they are pumping in things into our head? We already. That's why you see some reactions are not being taken. Is because we are influenced. They are saying things to us. We are listening to this one. A Hall of Famer talk here. An influencer talk over there. It's just like a whole bunch of this thing. And if you are on Twitter, on your social media, your feed is constantly being polluted with comments and with ideas and with takes and with thoughts. It's just like a whole. I don't know which any other fandom that has this kind of energy when it comes to influencers that influence the product so well. It's only Pro Wrestling that I can see this thing, and it's crazy. And I'm like, how can we change this? How can we stand on our own? How can we be independent with our choice and not? I believe that's where you see comments from Triple H where he tries to say we should not have criticism because it's as if we've taken this thing too much. Like it's gotten over the rails. So it's as if even when we're supposed to it's as if fans are more manipulated by the influencers than the product that they're trying to. And the products people are not even doing anything. So it's just crazy. I sit here and I'm like, how can we be better? How can we be better?
Did I freeze? Guys, I'm frozen. So if you guys could speak, go for it.
No, I hear you. I hear you perfect.
I hear you. We can hear you clearly. We can hear you.
Okay, well he can't hear us, no,
I can hear you guys, but you guys continue.
Okay, no, but I agree. You know, these guys have platforms. It's, you know, I this is how I feel when it comes to like JD and like LaGreca. Like honestly, I know since we're on the subject,
let's talk about
JD, it. With JD, it's I like to listen to look. I'm gonna be honest. There's people that won't watch a show that won't do anything, and they'll just listen to JD or they'll listen to Bust It Open, and their opinion will be that without out watching the show. That's the only problem I have with some of these influencers, is because,
Yes.
pero tú haces lo mismo. Anyway, it's one of those things where it's crazy. Like, I watch the show and do it for yourself. That's why I like to do it. I like to watch the show and then listen to them. But like, they have such powerful voices. Again, people just they'll feed into what they say. But I encourage a lot of people to watch the shows and then listen to them. That's my advice.
Well said. I agree with you. Watch the show, have your opinion, and then compare your notes. You know, retain the good one, agree or disagree, and have that healthy debate. I'm not saying you have to be a yes man or a parrot, agree with everything. I'll give you an example myself. I know a follower who follows my channel on all my different platforms, and you know, I know he doesn't watch wrestling. He didn't watch WrestleMania this whole weekend. He goes on Denise Salcedo's and hears her thoughts, and he tells me how terrible WrestleMania was. Did you watch it? No, I didn't watch it. So you're being influenced by an influencer. And it's not throwing shade on Denise Salcedo because she has her own opinion. Great. Denise has her own opinion, like I have my own opinion. Chris has his own opinion. Daniel has his own opinion. But you didn't watch the WrestleMania. You're getting influenced by their opinion, which I can't respect that. If you say I watched it too, and I totally agree with Denise Salcedo's opinion, sounds different. Saying, oh, WrestleMania was terrible because I heard it from Denise Salcedo. I can't buy that. Or from anyone. It's not picking on her.
That pissed me off. I know exactly what you're talking about. Hold up, real quick, Samuel.
It's Michael Caputo. I'm gonna say his name. I'm gonna throw his name out. It's Caputo who said that. I'm gonna throw the name out.
Yep. He came into my draft. Hold up, Samuel. This guy came into my stream when I'm drafting. I'm streaming the draft. This guy comes into my stream and he starts talking about, because Denise said this, WrestleMania was this, and this, and this, and this. Literally a stream that had nothing to do with wrestling.
I'm like,
she's
I'm just thinking like Denise, Denise is influencing the game too. Wow, how low have we gotten? No shades to Denise here, but Denise,
and she does a great job. I can't hate on her. She's on Busted Open. She has a radio gig. She goes to all these events. She covers it. She talks to the wrestlers. She's doing her thing. Young girl, you're doing your thing. But when other people, but it's not her fault that this guy, this feeble-minded person, decided to not watch the event and then gonna go around retweeting or acting like a parrot, saying that WrestleMania sucked because Denise said so. You're throwing the poor girl under the bus, getting heat on her, not to like her because she said doesn't like WrestleMania. It's not her fault. Meanwhile, now her ears are probably ringing, and it's not her fault because this person didn't watch it and went to her. And that thing happens, I think, to JD. I think it happens to JD. It might happen to us. It might happen to Sean Ross Sapp. It could happen to anyone who hosts a podcast. Wrestling Inc., when they had their podcast going, people don't watch it. They listen to their opinions because, and again, it's all these podcasters have the right to say what they didn't like. If they didn't like the wrestling or their favorites didn't win, they could say it that they didn't like it. It's not saying, oh, because you're covering the league, don't say nothing negative because they're not, no, you say what you didn't like. Content creators say it, but remember, there's folks that don't watch the product. They watch you and they repeat and parrot, and they leave the essence of the whole quote. They just go by what they want to hear. Oh, it was trash. So many times, Chris, that's why I always ask Chris, how is All Elite Wrestling? I don't watch All Elite Wrestling. I feel I have something better to do on my Wednesday nights. But I always ask Chris because he's a fair and honest follower of the product. My sons, my 27, my 28-year-old sons love it. They love All Elite Wrestling. Hey, how was the wrestling? How was it? I have bought them tickets. But I know myself that I'm not a fan of it. So I ask people who watch it. Okay, then I listen to JD, what he's got to say. JD for the last month, and he has been ferocious All Elite Wrestling. But I'm not gonna, I want to. Then what? Let me watch this match. Let me see what's going on. Let me see what's this and that. We all feed into that because we have to watch with our own set of eyes and our own critique lens. I always tell everybody, have your opinion and be your island of relevancy on your opinion when it comes to wrestling. Don't copy and paste. That's my whole gripe, Chris.
No, I agree. Again, I feel like a big maybe a lot. I can relate to a lot of these podcasters because they are some of the people that I could actually relate to. Um, and maybe you might have the same opinions as them because that's why you like them. But again, I think it's some of the content creators too. You guys really need to stress out. Again, first off, this is my message to content creators. Again, I'm not gonna you guys are doing what you're doing. You guys are killing it, but you guys need to tell your viewers, one, don't take my advice to heart. Watch it for your own eyes. Come back to me, whatever. Or you need, the fans just need to wait until they have seen it to listen to their favorite podcasters. Because it's, I've gotten into those arguments with people where it's like, yeah, but Sean Rossap said this, so you're gonna let this dude or Dave Meltzer. I'm tired of people following the Dave Meltzer 5-star because Meltzer didn't give it a 5-star. So what? You're gonna let some 60-year-old virgin that lives in his basement that rates star ratings determine your outcome on a match? Like, come on, like let's not do that. Oh, I'm Dave Meltzer. Let's not do that because he has said some crazy stuff in the past that we're just like, what? Like he's the Jerry Jones of the wrestling community. Kev.
Look, when it comes to those, it's one person's opinion on that. Look, there's some people that like goat cheese. I don't like goat cheese. Just because he gives it a 5-star, I'm gonna go, oh, goat cheese is the best cheese in the world. No,
Right.
no, you consume what you like. If you like cottage cheese, if you like ricotta cheese, or you like any type of cheese, or no cheese, or you're lactose intolerant, you don't eat it. So if it's 5 stars or it's the greatest cheese in the world, you don't eat it. No, go get something that you want. That's where you want your wrestling. You could go and it's fun to listen to all these different podcasters. We want you to continue to listen to us, to continue listening to JD from New York, to listen to Meltzer, to listen to Darnie Salcedo, Wrestling Inc. Everyone that does their content, they are doing their thing because you know what? They love this. They all at the end of the day doing the same thing that I am doing and everyone's doing. We love this art of sports entertainment wrestling. We love it. We have our own individual memories, good, bad, or indifferent, or moments that we can associate in our soundtrack of our lives. If we were to meet our creator and we have our flashbacks in our life, we're gonna have wrestling, all the moments in wrestling, and we're gonna be like, great moments. And not some that might be just creative, but at the end of the day, it was still our moments. And that's what we're all getting here together and talk about, is those great moments that wrestling provides us. Listen, I said this here, without professional wrestling right now, I wouldn't be talking to this man underneath me in Lagos, Nigeria. Nowhere in the world I'll be talking to someone from Nigeria or even meeting Chris, which, by the way, he has family less than 5 miles away from my home. And he lives in Hershey, Pennsylvania, where now we're going to have a friendship when he comes visit here. We're going to have a lunch or dinner or hang out.
NXT.
The same thing with there you go. Or Shep Dan in Brooklyn, who has become pretty much my virtual and right now a best friend. I don't have much friends. I'm closed off. I'm always working. My best friend is my wife and my kids. But I have a friend in Shep Dan who's co-creator on this channel. We met through the YouTube. That's what wrestling does. Provide great friendship that I know I could count on. Chef, I can't. I'm sick right now. I can't do. I got the stream. Don't worry. Go rest. Simple. Or be able to collaborate and do a channel. Talk about MMA with my son, connect with my son about mixed martial arts. And I know it's not wrestling, but it's still where we come together. That's what wrestling does. Wrestling, also be able to talk to Canary, who's in Sacramento, across town, who is, by the way, the same age or maybe a couple years younger than my kids. A 40-year-old man would not be talking to a 24, 25-year-old person collaborating, talking about wrestling, something innocent. If you talk about 40-year-old with a 25-year-old, yeah, they're doing Shannon Sharp shit. No, we're talking about wrestling. We want to get the wrestling business over. We want to talk about give an opinion or talking to a PhD in Gemma, who's smart, intelligent in Chicago. All that's what wrestling does. It brings us together, Chris.
No, I agree. Wrestling, like I said, I never would have met Samuel. He's all the way in freaking Nigeria. I don't even talk to, wrestling just is giving me a lot of friends. I have I have two real friends outside of in the real world, two real friends and a girlfriend that I've been with for 3 years. So I don't wrestling, with Kev, Samuel, Chef, everybody here. It's nobody around me. When it comes to pro wrestling in my city, around here in my area, people think of me, and it's because nobody likes it. I'm the only one around here that likes it. So to have people and that's why I started doing this. I started, join IW, Twitter, all that stuff. Um, and yeah, I love talking about it. I love and talking about it with other people is the best part. So we're not coming at any, we're not hating on these people. It's just my personal opinion is just these people gotta, just again, we're not telling you what to do, but how I would, you got to read the room. Read the room
Yeah,
and decide what you do from there.
yeah. We got to read the room and aside the room, and that's what wrestling gives
Kev,
us. Yeah, good, Samuel. Samuel. All right.
Hello.
I think he paused himself for a moment. Yeah, he's thinking. He's contemplating his thoughts. There it is. I like that. Samuel, you ready to go? Give your thoughts. You're muted, pop. You're
Your
muted,
mic's
brother.
muted, bro.
Your
yeah,
mic
like
is muted.
I can
There
personally
we
say I'm
go.
the
There
only
we
one
go.
around here. Yeah, I'm hearing you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All
We
right.
can hear
So
Samuel.
I don't know if you can hear me, but if you all right. So I just want to say this part, like, yes, I can acknowledge with what you guys said, because I feel I'm the only one that loves it over here too. So I'm always trying to be respectful. Like it's been so crazy, especially this week, this
It's been crazy this week. Hopefully, I didn't lose me.
No, he's down there.
But it's frozen. I think it's the StreamYard, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm gonna do this on the playback this week in wrestling. If we're gonna keep having these freezes from you know, from StreamYard.
Yeah. Come on, StreamYard. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I think he's out. Yeah, I think so. It's too many freezing, and I wanted to play clips, and I had a whole bunch of production set up, and when I do it, it freezes, and then the minute I'm off, it works fine. Like up the uploaded, the minute we go live, it decides to freeze and decides to do all these nonsense. But man, let's talk about let's bring this show a little home. Hopefully we get him
Yeah,
back
let's
on here.
yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Let's talk about, they had a bad publicity, they had a bad WrestleMania 41 weekend, but they restored the feeling with Monday Night Raw. Some great matchups there, especially what we got with Braun Breaker joining Heyman, Seth Rollins, the way they closed it out with CM Punk getting speared and Roman Reigns going through the barricade. What a visual. They brought that back home. Great job there, Chris. I thought you were like, oh, damn, Monday Night Raw had us
Yeah.
going, because you had the return of Rusev as well. It felt like a Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah, it did. Um, Monday Night Raw felt pretty good. This week was pretty good. And, SmackDown again. I'm gonna try to go a little quicker because we've been going on for a little bit. But
Yes, yes.
you know, they made that Raw at the WrestleMania feel like a Raw at the WrestleMania. I don't think anybody really expected Braun Breaker, and we're big fans of Braun Breaker here on this network, especially Kev. And this is really good for him. He's around the top. He's gonna get to the top, and he's around the top. We should have saw this coming. That one night that they stacked their card on NXT to go head to head with AEW, and we saw Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker. We should, long term booking. But it was good. It was good with SmackDown, and we got Randy Orton coming out on Raw too. Still, kind of. If you guys saw my reaction to the playback, it was pretty decent. I loved it. I loved it. Again, with last night was pretty good. We got Alistair, all this stuff. Again, I'm kind of jumping ahead because we've been going on for a little bit. I'm trying to just wrap it up as quick as I can, but because we still have Samuel to go to. But I thought this week of wrestling kind of not made up, or but got us on the right track. For bad backlash, which we already have Randy Orton versus John Cena announced, so that's going to be stacked. But yeah, SmackDown was good last night, and so was the Raw WrestleMania, and NXT as well. It was pretty good.
They did a good job on bringing that all together, all around, getting back together with Monday Night Raw. Then, of course, you saw the tag team champions Liv and Raquel on NXT on Tuesday night defending their title. That was a good match with JEDI and Tatum Paxley. Very good match there. NXT continues to deliver, but I thought an NXT crowd was a little fatigued. We saw Joe Henry return back to NXT, was great, but the crowd looked like they were WrestleMania Vegas out. They were not. They didn't have that energy.
This might be the one time, not the one time, but man, Performance Center would have been crazy. Because who came back to Noah Dar or no?
Noam Dar had crickets.
Noam Dar, yeah,
when
he had crickets.
Yeah.
Performance Center would have marked out.
I think I got you. We watched the playback. I got more excited for Noam Dar returning than the crowd. I was very excited for Noam Dar returning. I marked the hell out for Noam. I'm a big fan of Noam Dar and the whole Metaphor group in its totality. And the crowd felt like they were tired and fatigued because you just had Liv and Raquel. I mean, when you've got Liv on your TV and live and in person, it's tough to follow that up with Noam Dar. No offense, Noam, but Liv is Liv. With those Daisy Duke shorts creeping up her ass. And we'll get you a little excited there. But Samuel, you had something before you went off or had an issue. You want to finish that if you recall?
Yeah. I just wanted to say I share the same thoughts with you and Chris. Because wrestling has given me a whole lot. I just remember it's just so poetic that you guys are talking about this thing, and I had this conversation with somebody 2 days ago about what wrestling has actually done for me. Especially since my earliest childhood is wrestling. Like this past 20 years has been wrestling, and the crazy one I can even remember now is the past 7 years with losing my mom. Like I used to ask myself sometimes, I'm like, how was I able to deal with the depression, with the suicidal thoughts? Was because like anytime I feel so overwhelmed, I'm like, motherfucker, we have SmackDown in the next couple of days. We have NXT in the next couple of Dynamite in the next couple of days, like Raw is the next. So like it's as if I'm just living for the next 2 hours, couple of hours. I'm going to watch these shows, and I'm like, let me just live for this show. And if it's interesting, that's cool. So like I'm like, that's why it's real. Wrestling will always be real to me. So I don't care what The Rock has to say about it. If it's not real to him, then he should go out and effort with his Hollywood money. I don't give a damn about him. And it's real to me. And I really share that because wrestling has given me a whole lot of things. In terms of like the friendship I have right now with you guys on my screen talking about wrestling. Like who would have thought a kid from Nigeria will be able to be live on YouTube with this huge time difference, but connecting as if I've known you guys for 5 years or 10 years. Like I feel so alive, and I can't I wouldn't even have this without wrestling. So I just wanted to like also give a nod to that because indeed it's real to me and it has really given me a lot that I don't believe any other thing would give to me at this point.
Well said. It could be scripted, like you said, Rock, like your tweet to Dave LaGreca. It could be this determination. It could be we know the storyline, whatever the case is. But to us as fans that have been watching this product, listen, other than soda and can and food, maybe the only addiction I have is wrestling. I never done any type of illegal street drugs or smoked any of that stuff. I've been married for over 30 years, but my addiction is professional wrestling and soda, and that's it. And I love professional wrestling. I'm a father, raise my kids and, raise my sons. They're 25, 27-year-old men, successful men out, my own home. I've had success. But one thing that I do not prohibit myself is watching professional wrestling. And that's my addiction as a professional wrestler, regardless of the fact that it's stage or predetermined or whatever he said toward Dave LaGreca. I'm still going to keep supporting and consuming and watching my addiction, which is professional wrestling, regardless.
So no Shannon Sharp, right?
Shannon Sharp. Oof.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. It's football and wrestling, those are the two things. And wrestling's just different, man. You gotta
It is.
know. Gotta be in the circle, man. It's different. It really is different. But yeah, I well said, Kev. Well said.
And I say this: if you don't like it by then, I don't think no matter how older you are, you're gonna get into it. Either you're gonna like it from the beginning, or you're not. I don't feel like, oh well, let me see if I can convince them to like it. No, either they really like it or they don't like it. I don't think there's
Yep.
half step in either that or or unless if there's something beneficial to them as a business or something's going to benefit them, which the way I think. I might be wrong, but I think that's the way it goes there. But all in all, what a good week for wrestling. Or I want to see what happens now. For congratulations to Zelina Vega winning the United States Women's Champion.
Boricua.
But I thought it felt a little forced. Zelina, I'm happy for you. I don't know if the build didn't feel special when she won that title. The crowd did not react special. I had some people say it should have been on a WrestleMania card. No, I think it was fine. It was fine, and also the ladder match with the men. I think it was fine at SmackDown. They went commercial free for an hour. It didn't need to be in WrestleMania because it would have been overshadowed with all the shit show that happened at WrestleMania. Now they're the highlight and the toast of the town of that ladder match for the tag team division that people say, oh, tag team wrestling in the WWE is dead. It's boring and stale. I'd rather have them be in the main event and close out SmackDown, what they gave us last night, where we're talking about it, and we want to see more of the Machine Guns. We want to see the Machine Guns possibly going to Raw to take on the New Day. That's a decorative tag teams when the WWE and the New Day taking on a Machine Gun, Motor City Machine Guns. The Street Profits cementing themselves as one of the best tag teams in the WWE in this Triple H Levesque era. Now you have Axiom and Nathan Frazier coming up with some matchups there with either the Machine Guns and Fraxium or many more. SmackDown is doing a good job on bringing up good tag teams. Lagarza wrestled well. You got a nice healthy amount of tag teams, and putting them there on SmackDown, I thought it was great. You might disagree with me, but again, if you're complaining about the card, imagine they would have put those two other matches along. You're looking at 9 to 8 card WrestleMania, and then you would have been like, oh, it's so long. You're saying it felt like a Monday Night Raw and a SmackDown. So imagine putting those two matches on there. I mean, the amount of negativity that would have came out. It was perfect where it was. You know what? Kudos to those performers, men and women that did it and entertained us there and got us to that, finished up the television show, because that was a phenomenal ladder match last night for Taz. And Dawkins with that move off that spear off the top. I thought he hurt his knee. We were like, holy crap. I hope you don't. I hope there was no major injuries after today. Hopefully everybody is, little bumps and bruises, but I hope everyone is 100% healthy. Pseudos, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano did their part in that triple threat match, being part of that catalyst with some great moves as well. Where did it go from that? Well, you know what? You guys got me invested in tag team wrestling, more tag team wrestling. Now it's up to head of creative and booking to put storylines in place with all these different tag teams. You incorporate a Pretty Deadly, incorporate a Fraxium, incorporate X, Y, and Z, and now we're off and cooking. But for Zelina, good job on winning that title. Congratulations being a federal, like you said, Chris, a federal Boricua. Hopefully it could calm down the internet, the Zelina Vega hive that there's on the internet. Hopefully that could calm it down. Just, you know what? I'm not going to be ahead. We're going to book her ready to lose the title. No, just enjoy it. Make us invest in your storyline, in your struggle to becoming world champion. Now, what are you going to do? What are you willing to do to keep that world title around your waist, Zelina? Tell that story for us. Tell that story week after week. The amount of length that you're going to do to stay our United States Women's Champion, Chris.
Yeah, I agree. There's still stuff they could do. They could rematch it. Have a good match at Backlash. She could lose it, but I ultimately agree. Just enjoy it. Congratulations. I wish it was built up a little bit better and a little more story. Pay-per-view, but that's okay. She won it. That's all that matters. So we're just gonna have to see how it plays out.
Maybe the title elevates her. Maybe now when she having that title around her waist, she gets elevated herself, where more fan investments, more growth. Her wrestling, I don't ever thought she was not a bad wrestler. I've never. She's always been a very entertaining wrestler. but maybe now people will pay attention more and get invested because she's holding gold, Samuel.
I personally, for me, it was so overwhelmed seeing her come off victorious last night, because I'm like, the first thought that came to my head, I was like, shit, I wish this was 9/11. And I'm not like, maybe because I love more emotional story, I wish they could do what they tried doing all these years with the story with our dad and the 9/11. Imagine this happening in September with this being built right. But the question I also asked when I'm like, how are you going to build Zelina Vega hot from now till September? I'm like, I don't know how you're gonna do that, but I wish she won a title during that season, because just having that moment where, even if it's to go to where her dad was buried with that championship, and talk about a documentary that can resonate with people, that people can understand, like that would have been lovely. But can they still do that? We had lead up to that moment. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do that. But I from the pictures and the backstage photos that have been floating around social media, with her posting even this morning on she waking up with a belt, like it means a lot when you see the night her husband came back to the company after escaping Comfortable Bay. Like it felt so good seeing her, giving her husband the hug and kiss with the championship in her hands. Like it felt so good. But end of the day, I'm like, for the grand scheme, I'm like, I just wish she did not win that. But I'm like, I'm still hopeful to see what they do with her with she being champion. And I'm really, really happy for her as a human being, that someone that worked hard. And you saw what she said, that she wanted to also have that Triple H point. That means a lot to her and everything. I wish her a great run with it. I hope, just like, because right now Chelsea made that championship, so right now it has to be the other way around. That championship needs to be Zelina Vega again. I know she's great and all of that, so we need to see what she can do. Just like you said, let's see what Zelina can bring to the table as US champion. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I'm really interested to see what they do with her going forward.
I'm gonna say a hot take. This is a hot take. This is my opinion, my hot take. It came in my head. I'm gonna say it. I always told you I want to be an island of relevancy. I think they allowed Zelina to win opportunity to win the United States title, because pretty soon the WWE is gonna have budget cuts. I don't know if TKO points out which talent or not being used. She's your United States champion. It's going to be really extremely difficult to cut her if she's your champion currently. Now they just signed Malachi, aka Alistair, back into the company. You don't want to cut and remove one spouse. I think they make her champion. They book her well. They book her strong. They keep her away from the budget cuts. I don't think they could. That's why I don't think they could wait until September 11th to do that. If anything, they could have done that last year when it was in New York, in that area, for that venue for September 11th, when it was close with the vignettes. I know Bully Ray has said that many times on Busted Open when they said that about that feel good moment. That's where I heard it originally from. But you couldn't wait to September. You had to do something now because of the budget cuts. I think that's just a hot take, Chris, on that, on going forward, and Samuel.
Yeah, no. I could agree. I think she was possibly on her way, so this could probably raise her stock, as they say.
So, my last thing, yes. Go ahead, Samuel.
Because with that theory you just made now, it's like it opens a lot of Pandora's box, because you look at it and like Chelsea has been doing a great job. Like it's crazy to think that Chelsea will be losing the championship and we'll be here thinking like, I just didn't really like the fact that they took it from her. That's to say that she has been doing, like, she has represented it very well. So I get that point. And maybe Triple H is saying, obviously, it might be in the rooms where they are talking about budget cuts, and he knows that definitely they might axe her out of it. And I'm just bringing in your husband. It will not be a great look PR move for me. So, all right, let me take you, let me book you. There's no way they're going to touch Chelsea Green, because she's doing so much, even outside the TV screen. She's doing so much, but she's bringing so much noise. And so I believe that was like one of the, if you're going down narrative, then it was a great choice to go with her, because definitely she has been, especially with this Death Rebel theme song they gave her, like, oh God, I don't know what's wrong with the music these days. It's just so not appealing.
But that's a whole other situation. But Chris, final segment, I want to ask this here. I don't know, I'm gonna leave this, you're gonna be the driver in this seat. But we have, can we say nah, 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 nah. Dynamite. Oh, baby, we have the Dynamite Express moment here. We're going to give it to you, Chris. Your thoughts on Dynamite. I only know Master P was coming on, and that's all I know about the show. So I'm going to be working
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, again, I'm not gonna go too much about it because we've been screaming for a while and we're trying to wrap this up. I'm trying to wrap this up, but Dynamite was a little underwhelming from last week. You know, good
Really?
matches, There was nothing wrong, but again, it wasn't as great of a show as they had the week before. They didn't do anything that I didn't like. They just didn't do anything that was exciting. But I thought the tag team match with Speedball and Kevin Knight was pretty good. They had, you know, they're at least trying to make a story out of MJF and the Hurt Business. They're trying to extend it. I think we're getting closer with Shelton giving the thumbs up, and we're explaining that. So I hope next week they kind of bury it and they kind of go like, now where's the next point of it? But at least they're trying to do it with that. We have some qualifying matches next week that I'm looking forward to, or some quarterfinal or semifinal matches that I'm looking forward to next week. But it was all right. It was all right. They got Collision tonight after the playoffs. It actually doesn't look like a bad card. I'm not going to watch it because I'm not watching that on a Saturday. But it actually doesn't look a bad card. But no, Dynamite, it was okay. It wasn't bad, wasn't great. But we'll see what they could do. There's some good qualifying or good semifinal matches.
Any other matches that I need to watch? Like, go out of my way to watch in Dynamite? No, seriously, I'm not being troll. I want to know: do I check out this other match? Owens or anything particular there?
Well, Ospreay and Hangman's gonna be pretty good. Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander was a good match this week. I was actually surprised with the results. Jamie Hayter. I was surprised with the results. Yeah, Jamie Hayter. So she might get a push a little bit. That was probably the highlight. Again, we might get Tony Storm and Mercedes at the end, but we're seeing Chris Statlander. Jamie Hayter when she went by pinfall, which was pretty good. The Young Bucks, man, and I will say this because again, I'm trying to wrap this up. The Young Bucks come back and the AEW has their lowest rated show of the year. Tony Khan, can you please read the room? Read the room. They got like 510,000 viewers.
Could it be that wrestling fans were already wrestling tired out though, Chris? I'm not.
That could be. You know what? I hope so because I didn't think the match. I didn't think the Young Bucks and Speedball and Kevin Knight match that was good. It was good. I thought they did really good sequence with Mike Bailey with the kicks, Young Bucks. That was great. It was a great match. And even FTR coming out, with Tony, Shivani still with that. Like, it wasn't bad. It was just, it was a little underwhelming. But there was some stuff. I would go watch the Young, again, the Young Bucks, as much as I hate them, they had a good match. So that's all I got. I don't want to go too much. But
No. I got one more thing. Go ahead, Kramer. Go ahead, Samuel.
I just wanted to chime in for the Young Bucks match because personally for me it was great seeing Speedball and Kevin Knight chime have a match with the Young Bucks, but to me I'm like the match overdragged and it was just too many moves and I'm like, it's the Young Bucks here. Yes, I know we don't like them. Obviously, they are dragging the show down with their personality and everything. Something needs to change in them. I don't know what they need to do. But personally, I'm like, are they doing just about too much? They're staying there too much. And I'm like, nah. So it was just like a whole lot. The match, for me personally, for the entire show, the opening segment was the most great. Like, it was so whack. But that match was the only thing I took out of that, the whole entire show. But I still did have I wish he ended earlier. They did not do too much moves. They just were emphatic with it. But I still actually loved it. It was a great showing for the four guys. I don't know what the Young Bucks need to do to get themselves back to the good old days. But right now, it's not looking good for them, actually.
All right. We'll see what happens there with the Bucks. I think they get a lot of heat that they don't really deserve, personally. But we'll see where they go with the whole EVP and all that other stuff. I did have this question for Chris. Chris, do you like Sophie Hathaway being the mouthpiece for FTR?
I did. Yes, I do. I do. She's a lot. I kind of do. I think that could be good. FTRs that I don't think none of the FTR guys are as strong on the mic. That could be good. That'd be good for her. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I kind of like it like how I like Alexander paired with the Don Callis family. I like that.
Great. Good job there. So hopefully Sophie Hathaway gives a new fresh coat of paint to the heel version of FTR. But that will be the Heel the Ring podcast. We appreciate everyone to join us. If you're in the Greenwood, Missouri area, please take a note. Dwight Jeffries is looking for some help there. So with that said, we thank everyone for joining us. We appreciate everyone. Don't forget, don't let life pin you. Get over, kick out. May the sports be with you. Don't forget Good Morning Wrestling with Samuel Lyons and our watch along tomorrow night TNA. We have the pay-per-view on the playback. Heel the Ring.
Be in the lookout too, guys. Football fans, be in the lookout. Draft is over, and I got a lot to say about the Steelers. So be in the lookout.
There you go. All right, guys. So you know it. You got it. And play.